If you want to change your life, it starts with focus. Not the kind you try for a few minutes, but the kind that drives every action you take. This audiobook will show you how to focus so hard that distractions, doubts, and setbacks no longer control your results. You will learn how to build discipline, take consistent action, and keep moving forward even when motivation fades. You will discover how to remove small distractions, plan your day with purpose, and push through discomfort to unlock your hidden potential. You will understand how to track your habits, protect your time, and turn daily effort into measurable growth. Each chapter gives practical steps that you can apply immediately to start seeing results in your work, your health, and your personal goals. This is not about temporary motivation or shortcuts. It is about training your mind to stay calm under pressure, creating habits that build momentum, and celebrating progress to strengthen your confidence. By the end of this audiobook, you will have a clear system for taking control of your focus, building unstoppable inner strength, and turning your intentions into action. If you are ready to stop letting distractions control your life and start building a version of yourself that is consistent, disciplined, and unstoppable, then every word in this audiobook is designed for you. Stay with it and apply the lessons. Your results will grow faster than you expect. Chapter 1. Build laser focus by removing every small daily distraction. Distraction is the silent killer of greatness. It sneaks into every corner of life disguised as harmless habits and innocent choices. A quick scroll through your phone, a short video that turns into an hour, a text message that interrupts your concentration, a conversation that drifts into gossip. These moments seem small, but together they steal something far more valuable than time. They steal your focus, and with it, your potential. The truth is, you cannot build an extraordinary life while living in constant distraction. Every second your mind drifts, your energy weakens. Every time you switch tasks, your attention fractures. You lose clarity, you lose direction, and soon, you lose the drive to keep going. The human mind wasn't designed to operate in chaos. It was designed to focus deeply, to create, to build, to push forward with purpose. To become unstoppable, focus must be your weapon. You don't need to work 20 hours a day. You don't need to be the smartest person in the room. But you do need to give your full attention to what matters. Focus transforms average effort into mastery. It turns small, consistent actions into unstoppable momentum. Look closely at the people who achieve great things. They don't have more time. They simply use their time with intention. They cut away everything that doesn't serve their goal. They understand that distraction is not just a harmless delay, it is the enemy of excellence. To build laser focus, you must become ruthless with your attention. You must decide that your life deserves your full awareness, not the leftover scraps after social media, entertainment, and noise have taken their share. The first step to mastering focus is awareness. You cannot change what you don't notice. Begin by paying attention to where your time and energy go each day. Track it honestly. How many times do you reach for your phone when you feel bored? How often do you open apps without purpose? How much time slips away in meaningless scrolling or conversations that lead nowhere? Most people underestimate their distractions because they've become normal. They confuse activity with progress. But doing a lot is not the same as doing what matters. Once you see the truth, you can begin to take control. Every distraction has a root cause. It's rarely about the notification itself. It's about the discomfort we feel in stillness. The mind craves stimulation because silence feels uncomfortable. We fear being alone with our thoughts, so we reach for something easy and immediate. To build true focus, you must learn to sit with that discomfort. The moment you resist the urge to distract yourself, you strengthen your inner power. That moment of resistance is the training ground for your future discipline. Begin small. Turn off notifications that don't serve your priorities. Delete apps that add no value to your life. Keep your phone out of reach when working. Create physical and mental distance between you and your distractions. Every barrier you add makes focus easier. Every decision you make to protect your attention strengthens your mental muscle. Focus is not about doing more, it's about doing less with greater intensity. Choose one task, one mission, one goal, and give it everything. When you focus deeply, your brain enters a state of flow. Time slows down, ideas connect, effort feels lighter. This is when you produce your best work, and this is when you separate yourself from the average. Most people never experience this because they live in a loop of half-finished efforts and constant interruptions. They start one thing, then another, and never go deep enough to master anything. You cannot build an extraordinary life on shallow attention. To be great, you must go deep. You must focus so hard that the world disappears and only the work remains. That level of focus doesn't come by accident. It is trained through deliberate discipline. Start by designing your environment. Your surroundings shape your behavior more than you realize. A cluttered space creates a cluttered mind. If your desk is full of distractions, your mind will constantly wander. Simplify your environment. Keep only what supports your purpose. Remove unnecessary items. Make your workspace a place of clarity and calm. When you enter that space, your brain should know, this is where I create, this is where I grow, this is where I focus. Your environment extends beyond your physical space. It includes the people you allow around you. Some people fuel your focus, others drain it. Notice who encourages your growth and who keeps you stuck. Protect your energy. You don't owe access to anyone who disrespects your time or your goals. Every yes to distraction is a no to your progress. You have to choose which one matters more. Every focused person lives by boundaries. Boundaries are not walls, they are protection for what matters. Create specific times for deep work and treat them as sacred. Let others know when you're unavailable. Turn off your phone. Close unnecessary tabs. Focus on one thing until it's done. The world rewards those who can sustain their attention because focus is now the rarest skill on earth. As you begin removing distractions, you'll notice a strange feeling, boredom. The mind will crave stimulation. You'll feel the urge to check your phone, open a new tab, or switch tasks. This is the test. When that moment comes, breathe and stay still. Remind yourself that boredom is not your enemy. It's your opportunity to train your attention. The longer you can stay focused, the stronger your mind becomes. Over time, your attention span will expand, and what once felt difficult will become effortless. True focus also means managing your mental clutter. Your thoughts can be distractions too. Worry, fear, overthinking, they scatter your attention and drain your energy. The way to handle mental distraction is through clarity. Each morning, write down your top 3 priorities. Ask yourself, what really matters today? Once you know, commit fully to those tasks. Don't allow your mind to wander into unnecessary problems. Focus is not only external, it's internal discipline. You'll find that life becomes simpler when your focus sharpens. You stop chasing everything and start mastering something. You stop reacting and start creating. You stop living in chaos and start living with intention. Distraction thrives on weakness, but focus is the proof of strength. Every time you say no to distraction, you are saying yes to your purpose. Think of your focus as your energy in pure form. Wherever you place it, that area grows. If you focus on problems, they multiply. If you focus on progress, it accelerates. The choice is always yours. The mind cannot hold 2 dominant thoughts at once. If you focus on growth, distractions lose their power. To protect your focus, build habits that support it. Start your day without your phone. The first moments of your morning set the tone for the entire day. If you begin with noise, you carry that chaos with you. Instead, begin with silence, gratitude, and purpose. Review your goals. Visualize your day. Prepare your mind before the world competes for your attention. During work, practice the single task rule. Choose one task and give it your full attention for a set period, say 50 minutes. Then take a short break. This rhythm helps your brain stay sharp and prevents burnout. Multitasking is a myth. It only divides your focus. When you give full attention to one thing, your productivity doubles and the quality of your work improves dramatically. To build lasting focus, you must also manage your energy. A tired mind cannot stay focused. Prioritize sleep, nutrition, and movement. The body and mind work together. When you neglect your body, your mental clarity fades. When you move daily, your focus strengthens. Treat your body like a partner in your success, not an afterthought. Distractions will always exist. You cannot eliminate them completely, but you can master your relationship with them. The key is not to fight every distraction, but to rise above them. When you live with a clear purpose, distractions lose their appeal. Purpose creates power. When you know why you're doing something, focus becomes natural. You stop needing motivation because you are driven by meaning. Ask yourself every day, what am I working toward? If you don't have an answer, distractions will control you. But when you have a mission, every distraction feels like an obstacle between you and what matters. And when something matters deeply, you'll do whatever it takes to protect your attention. Your focus will be tested often. People will interrupt you. New opportunities will tempt you. The world will try to pull you in every direction. But each time you choose to stay focused, you prove to yourself that you are in control. That inner power compounds. One focused day builds into one focused week. One focused week builds into a new identity. Soon, you no longer struggle to focus. You simply are a focused person. It becomes who you are. The journey of focus is not about perfection. You will slip at times, and that's okay. The goal is progress, not flawless control. Each time you lose focus, notice it without judgment and return to what matters. The ability to return quickly is more valuable than never losing focus at all. Over time, you'll begin to notice something powerful: peace. When distractions disappear, peace takes their place. You stop feeling pulled in every direction. You stop chasing validation. You start living from the inside out. That peace is where true power begins. To live a focused life, you must make deliberate choices. Choose clarity over noise. Choose purpose over comfort. Choose discipline over distraction. Each choice builds your future. Each small decision is a brick in the foundation of your unstoppable focus. You cannot control the world, but you can control your attention. And once you master that, you master your life. Every breakthrough you seek, career growth, self-confidence, success, happiness, begins with the ability to focus on what truly matters. When your focus becomes powerful, your world transforms. Work becomes more meaningful. Relationships grow deeper. Your goals become clearer. You start achieving what once felt impossible, not because life got easier, but because you learned to give your energy to what counts. There's a quiet strength in being able to say, "This matters, and I will give it my full attention." That strength separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. Most people live scattered lives, constantly pulled between tasks, opinions, and desires. But the few who truly focus, move mountains. Every great achievement in history was born from focus. Every masterpiece, every innovation, every revolution started with someone who chose to give their full attention to one mission and refused to be distracted. You carry that same potential. The question is whether you'll protect it or waste it. Start today. Remove one distraction from your environment. Turn off one notification. Eliminate one habit that weakens your focus. Each small act of discipline compounds into extraordinary power. Don't wait for the perfect moment to start. The perfect moment begins the second you decide to take control of your attention. As you move forward, remind yourself that focus is not a skill you learn once. It is a daily practice. Each day will challenge your attention in new ways, but each day is also a chance to grow stronger. The more you train your focus, the more unstoppable you become. Distraction weakens the mind, focus sharpens it. Every moment of focus is a declaration of power. Every time you say no to distraction, you are saying yes to growth, success, and peace. Life doesn't reward those who try everything, it rewards those who master something. So build your focus, guard it, strengthen it. Live each day with clarity and intention. Let your focus become so strong that nothing can pull you away from your purpose. Because once you learn to focus so hard, you don't just get things done, you become unstoppable. Chapter 20. Train your mind to stay calm under pressure. Pressure exposes what's inside you. It strips away comfort, reveals your real strength, and tests how much control you have over your emotions. Everyone can stay calm when life is smooth, but calmness under stress, that's mastery. The difference between those who crumble and those who rise is not luck or talent, it's mental control. Learning to stay centered when everything feels heavy is the foundation of real strength. Calmness is not about pretending everything is fine. It's about maintaining clarity when your mind wants to panic. It's the skill of slowing down your thoughts so you can respond with wisdom instead of emotion. When pressure comes, most people react. They let fear, anger, or frustration take control. But reacting blindly creates mistakes, wastes energy, and leads to regret. A calm mind, on the other hand, sees options. It finds solutions. It acts with purpose. The first step to staying calm under pressure is awareness. You must learn to notice when your body starts to tighten, when your heart races, when your thoughts speed up. Those signs are not weakness, they're signals. They tell you that your body is preparing for flight or flight. Most people ignore these signals and lose control because they're unaware. Awareness gives you the power to pause before reacting. That pause is where calmness begins. The pause may only last a few seconds, but those seconds change everything. In that moment, you can choose how to respond. You can take a slow breath, straighten your posture, and remind yourself that panic solves nothing. That single act of control over your body and breath is enough to shift your mind from chaos to clarity. Breathing is one of the most powerful tools for mental control. When you're under pressure, your breathing becomes shallow and fast. This feeds anxiety and confusion. To calm down, slow your breathing. Inhale deeply through your nose, hold for a few seconds, and exhale slowly through your mouth. Doing this a few times signals your brain that you're safe. It lowers your heart rate and brings your focus back. Calmness is built on these small physical acts of control. Another important step is to separate what you can control from what you can't. Pressure often feels unbearable because we focus on things beyond our influence. You can't control what others do, what they think, or how events unfold. You can only control your actions, your attitude, and your effort. Once you stop wasting energy on the uncontrollable, your mind relaxes. You become lighter and more effective. Calmness grows when your focus narrows to what matters. Every challenge brings emotions, but emotions are only signals, not instructions. Fear tells you something is at stake. Anger tells you something feels unfair. Stress tells you something matters. These feelings are useful if you observe them without letting them take over. The key is to feel them, understand them, but not obey them. When you learn to watch your emotions like a neutral observer, they lose their power over you. Training calmness is like training a muscle. You have to practice it in daily life, not only when things go wrong. Every time something small irritates you, traffic, noise, delays, that's your training ground. Instead of reacting with frustration, take that moment to breathe and stay steady. You are not practicing for now. You are building strength for future storms. The mind that stays calm in small problems can stay unshaken in big ones. Pressure exposes preparation. If you live your days scattered, always rushing, never still, then when life hits hard, your mind will mirror that chaos. But if you practice stillness daily, even for a few minutes, you'll have something solid to return to when life tests you. Calmness isn't born in chaos, it's built in quiet moments. Spend time alone, sit without distraction, listen to your thoughts, learn to be still even when nothing demands it. That habit becomes your anchor during storms. Staying calm under pressure also means accepting that you can't control outcomes, only effort. The need to control everything creates panic. Once you accept that uncertainty is part of life, pressure loses its power. You stop fighting reality and start working with it. Calmness comes from acceptance, not avoidance. You don't have to like what's happening, but you must accept that it's happening and decide what to do next. In high-pressure moments, focus on your process, not the result. For example, if you're speaking in front of others, don't obsess over what they'll think. Focus on delivering your message clearly. If you're facing a deadline, stop worrying about the time. Focus on the next step. When your mind is locked on the process, you stay grounded. The result takes care of itself. Pressure grows when you think about everything at once. Calmness grows when you focus on one action at a time. Your thoughts shape your state. When pressure rises, thoughts of failure or fear often appear first. You must learn to replace them consciously. Instead of saying, "I can't handle this," tell yourself, "I've handled harder things before." Instead of, "This is too much," Say, one step at a time. The words you feed your mind become the energy that drives your actions. Calmness is reinforced through strong self-talk. Visualization helps too. Before difficult situations, imagine yourself handling them with confidence. Picture yourself breathing calmly, speaking clearly, moving with ease. The mind doesn't fully distinguish between imagined and real experiences, so this mental rehearsal strengthens your ability to remain composed when it matters most. Pressure often magnifies when you forget your purpose. You start to think only about the discomfort of the moment. But when you remind yourself why you're doing it, why it matters, the pressure becomes fuel. You realize the discomfort is temporary, but the reward of growth is lasting. People who stay calm under pressure don't have easier lives, they just have stronger reasons. Purpose gives pain meaning, and meaning calms the mind. When your environment is chaotic, create order inside yourself. Straighten your posture. Breathe deeply. Speak slowly. Move deliberately. These physical signals tell your mind that you're in control. Even when things go wrong, act like you're steady. The body and mind mirror each other. Control one, and the other follows. Learn to see pressure as feedback, not as an enemy. Every stressful situation shows you where you still need growth. If you lose control, that's not failure, it's data. It shows you where to strengthen your focus, where to build more patience, where to improve your habits. With this mindset, pressure becomes your teacher. Don't underestimate the role of rest. A tired mind reacts impulsively. Fatigue amplifies stress. Calmness requires energy, and energy requires recovery. Make sure you get enough sleep, eat clean, and take short breaks when needed. It's not weakness to rest, it's strategy. You can't fight pressure effectively if your body is exhausted. Taking care of yourself is part of staying composed. Detach from the need for perfection. Pressure grows when you fear mistakes. Calmness grows when you accept that mistakes are part of progress. Every failure is feedback. Every setback is information. When you stop trying to appear flawless, you become free to perform with presence. The goal is progress, not control. In relationships or teamwork, pressure can come from conflict or misunderstanding. Stay calm by listening before reacting. Most problems escalate because people speak before understanding. When you pause and listen, you create space for clarity. Respond with thought, not emotion. This simple habit transforms chaos into cooperation. The world rewards those who can stay composed when others panic. Leaders, athletes, creators, all rise by mastering emotional stability. Calmness under pressure is the difference between breaking and breaking through. It's what allows you to make smart decisions while others freeze. It's the quiet confidence that draws respect. To train this skill, expose yourself to mild stress intentionally. Step into situations that challenge your patience or confidence. Speak in front of others. Push through tough workouts. Face uncomfortable conversations. Each time you endure pressure with awareness, you build resilience. You're teaching your mind that discomfort is survivable and growth follows it. You'll notice that calm people carry an aura of control. They move slower, think deeper, and speak with intention. They're not rushing to prove anything. They act from strength, not fear. You can become one of them by living deliberately. Don't rush your thoughts. Don't overreact. Don't let every event shake your inner state. You control your reaction. That's your power. Pressure will always exist. You can't eliminate it, but you can master your response. Every challenge is a chance to practice composure. Every stressful moment is an opportunity to build mental armor. When you choose calmness repeatedly, it becomes your default state. Over time, stress no longer controls you, you control it. The mind trained in calmness is unshakable. It doesn't fear the unknown. It doesn't collapse under judgment or failure. It trusts itself. That's the strength of a disciplined mind. Calmness is not weakness. It's power in its purest form. The power to remain centered when everything else falls apart. Train your mind daily. Breathe deeply. Think clearly. Focus only on what you can control. Stay steady when pressure rises. Over time, this becomes your natural state, and when you can remain calm in the storm, you don't just survive, you thrive. Chapter 3: They set clear goals that give your life strong direction. Without direction, life drifts. Each day passes, filled with activity but lacking progress. You move but not forward. You work but without purpose. You achieve but without fulfillment. The reason many people feel lost is not because they lack potential, but because they lack clear goals. Goals give life structure, meaning, and energy. They create a map for where you're going and why it matters. When your goals are clear, decisions become simple, distractions lose their grip, and your focus strengthens naturally. Setting clear goals begins with understanding yourself. Before you chase anything, you must know what truly matters to you. Too often, people copy the ambitions of others' money, fame, status, without asking if those goals align with their inner values. Real direction comes from honesty. Ask yourself what kind of life would make you proud. What kind of person do you want to become? What values do you want to embody every day? Until you answer these questions, goals are just noise. A goal is not just a wish, it's a commitment to action. Wishing for something doesn't move you. Planning for it does. When you set a clear goal, you are defining what you will work toward no matter how long it takes. Clarity creates power because it eliminates confusion. Once you know your target, every small step can align with it. Without a target, every step feels like wandering. A strong direction begins with vision. Picture the life you want in detail, the work you do, the habits you live by, the kind of peace you feel. Vision is your compass. It guides your goals and gives them purpose. But vision without structure fades, so you must turn that vision into specific, measurable objectives. For example, don't just say, "I want to be healthy." Define what health means to you. Does it mean exercising 5 days a week, eating clean meals daily, sleeping 8 hours? Vague goals create vague results. Clear goals create momentum. When setting goals, write them down. Putting them on paper transforms them from thoughts into tangible realities. It makes them harder to ignore and easier to measure. Review them often. Repetition keeps them alive in your mind. The more you see your goals, the more your subconscious begins to align your choices with them. This is how long-term transformation begins, through consistent reminders of what matters most. Goals should challenge you but not crush you. If a goal is too easy, it won't inspire growth. If it's too big too soon, it can overwhelm you. The right goal stretches your limits, but still feels possible through effort and patience. Growth lives in that balance, between comfort and chaos. Choose goals that make you slightly uncomfortable, because discomfort means you're expanding. Direction is more than achievement, it's progress in alignment with purpose. Many people achieve things that don't bring happiness because they were climbing the wrong ladder. Every goal should connect to a deeper why. If you want wealth, ask why. If you want freedom, ask why. Keep asking until you reach the root. That root reason will fuel you when motivation fades. It becomes your anchor when challenges come. Once you've set your goals, break them down. Big visions can feel distant and impossible unless divided into smaller steps. If your goal is to build a business, start with researching your field, then develop skills, then create a plan, then execute one small step each day. Progress happens through consistent, small actions. Every step completed is a building block for the next. This process transforms pressure into manageable effort. Clarity also helps with decision-making. When your goals are defined, saying no becomes easier. You stop chasing distractions that lead nowhere. Every new opportunity can be weighed by asking, does this move me closer to my goal? If the answer is no, it's not worth your time. That level of focus is what separates dreamers from achievers. The achiever guards their energy because they know where it's going. There will be days when your progress feels invisible. That's natural. Growth is not always loud. Often it happens quietly, in the background of your persistence. But having clear goals prevents you from losing direction in those moments. You can look back at your plan, see how far you've come, and keep moving forward. Without that clarity, you'll quit too early. You must also allow your goals to evolve. As you grow, your priorities shift. What mattered 5 years ago may no longer serve you. Review your goals regularly and adjust them to fit who you are becoming. Changing direction doesn't mean failure, it means growth. Staying aligned with your truth is more important than clinging to an outdated dream. Goals require systems. Motivation might start you, but systems keep you consistent. Create daily routines that support your goals automatically. If you want to learn, read every morning. If you want to get fit, schedule your workouts at the same time every day. Systems remove the need for constant decision-making and reduce the chances of failure. Discipline grows when structure replaces emotion. Visual reminders strengthen your commitment. Keep symbols or notes of your goals where you can see them: your wall, your mirror, your phone background. Every reminder reinforces your direction. The mind works through repetition. What you see often becomes what you believe, and what you believe becomes what you act on. Surround yourself with people who support your direction. The wrong environment can blur your goals. Negative people drain energy and make you question your path. The right circle will challenge you, encourage you, and hold you accountable. If no one around you shares your vision, walk alone until you find people who do. Isolation with purpose is better than company with confusion. Accountability multiplies progress. Share your goals with someone who will keep you honest. Report your actions, not your intentions. When you know someone is watching your progress, you stay more consistent. Accountability adds external structure to internal commitment. Success is rarely about massive action. It's about steady movement in one direction. Clear goals remove the noise of comparison. When you know your path, you stop measuring yourself against others. You stop worrying about who's ahead or behind. You stay focused on your lane, your timing, your growth. That's how real confidence builds. Failure becomes easier to handle when your goals are clear. A setback doesn't mean you're lost. It just means you're adjusting the route. With direction, failure is feedback. You can see what went wrong, correct it, and continue. But without clear goals, failure feels like the end because you don't know what to do next. Direction gives you resilience. Time takes on new meaning when you have goals. Every hour feels valuable because it's part of something bigger. You begin to prioritize better. You stop wasting time on meaningless activity. You start building momentum because each day now serves a purpose. That sense of direction gives you peace, even during struggle, because you know your energy isn't wasted. Self-trust grows with every completed goal, no matter how small. Each success proves that your word to yourself has power. Confidence is not given. It's earned through consistent alignment between promise and action. When you keep your word, your mind begins to trust your commitment, and that trust fuels unstoppable momentum. Clarity also quiets anxiety. Uncertainty breeds stress. When you don't know where you're going, every small obstacle feels like a crisis. But when you have a map, you see obstacles for what they are, temporary detours. You handle them calmly because you know your destination remains the same. Direction is what turns chaos into order. It's what gives purpose to effort. It's what transforms daily habits into legacy. When your goals are clear, you no longer chase everything, you build something meaningful. Every day becomes a deliberate move toward the life you've chosen, not the one you've stumbled into. In the end, setting clear goals is an act of respect for your own life. It's saying to yourself, I refuse to live by chance. It's choosing purpose over confusion, structure over randomness, and vision over wandering. Life will always bring challenges, but with direction, you face them with strength and clarity. Start now, define what matters most, write it down, break it into steps, build habits around it, review it daily, adjust when needed, protect it from distractions, and above all, commit to it with your full energy. Because once your goals are clear and your direction is strong, you stop drifting, you start living with power, purpose, and unstoppable focus. Chapter 14. Wake up early and take control of your morning. The way you begin your day shapes everything that follows. Mornings are not just the start of your day, they are the foundation of your mindset, energy, and discipline. When you wake up early, you give yourself time to think before the world demands your attention. You gain quiet moments to build focus before distractions appear. Early hours belong to those who are serious about growth because they understand that control begins before noise enters. Most people wake up reacting. The alarm rings, and the first instinct is to reach for the phone. Notifications, messages, and endless scrolling fill the mind before a single deep breath is taken. That's not waking up, that's surrendering control. When you start your day reacting, you hand over your peace and attention before you even leave bed. To take control of your life, you must first take control of your mornings. Waking up early is not about suffering or forcing productivity, it's about creating space. It's about gaining time that most people waste. Those quiet early hours give you a chance to connect with yourself, to reflect, to plan, and to move with intention. The world is silent, the air feels different, and your thoughts are clearer. You can hear your mind without interruption. That stillness is rare and powerful. Taking control of your morning starts the night before. You can't rise early with energy if you go to bed late and scattered. Preparation creates consistency. Set a specific time to sleep, reduce screen use before bed, and make your environment calm. When your night ends with intention, your morning begins with strength. This small discipline builds the foundation for every other habit. When you wake up early, resist the urge to rush. The morning is not a race, it's a ritual. Begin by sitting quietly for a few moments. Feel your breathing, feel your body waking up, and acknowledge that you've been given another day. Gratitude grounds your mind in peace before the day begins. It reminds you that life itself is your first gift. A strong morning routine gives structure to your day. Don't fill it with random tasks. Fill it with actions that strengthen your mind and body. Start with movement. Exercise in the morning isn't just for physical fitness. It clears mental fog and builds energy. When your body moves, your thoughts become sharper and your motivation increases naturally. Even 10 minutes of stretching or walking can reset your mood and focus. After movement, feed your mind. Read something inspiring or educational, even if it's just a few pages. Early learning primes your brain for clarity and creativity throughout the day. Write down your thoughts, goals, or intentions for the day ahead. Putting your ideas on paper gives direction and purpose. When you know what matters most, your day unfolds with clarity instead of confusion. Avoid starting your day with noise or negativity. Don't scroll through headlines or social media. The world's chaos can wait. In those first hours, protect your peace like it's sacred, because it is. What you allow into your mind in the morning shapes your emotional state for the rest of the day. Start with silence, positivity, and focus. Rising early also gives you an edge over time. While others are still sleeping, you've already created progress. You've already won small victories before the day begins. That quiet momentum builds confidence. It gives you the feeling that you're leading your life, not chasing it. Each early morning compounds into more self-respect, because you're keeping a promise to yourself every day. The discipline to wake early is not about impressing others, it's about mastering yourself. When the alarm rings and you rise instead of hitting snooze, you're proving that your decisions are stronger than your comfort. That single moment of discipline shapes your mindset for the entire day. If you win that first battle, the rest becomes easier. The first victory creates momentum for all others. It's not just about the time you wake up, but what you do with it. Some people wake early, but waste those hours on distractions. The goal is intentional action. Decide in advance what your morning stands for. Maybe it's learning, training, planning, or simply thinking. The key is to make your early hours sacred, a space where you invest in yourself before giving your energy to the world. Morning control also strengthens emotional stability. When you begin your day with calm and purpose, you become less reactive to stress. You move through challenges with patience because you've already centered yourself. A chaotic morning breeds a chaotic day, but a calm morning breeds clear focus and inner strength. If waking early feels hard at first, start small. Move your wake-up time just 15 minutes earlier each week until you reach your goal. The body and mind adapt with consistency. Discipline grows gradually, not instantly. What matters is consistency, not perfection. Over time, your mornings will become something you look forward to, a quiet meeting with your highest self. You'll begin to notice that productivity feels smoother when you take control early. You'll have already completed your most important habits before most people even start their day. This gives you freedom. When you've built progress early, the rest of the day carries less pressure. You move with a sense of accomplishment instead of urgency. The morning is also the best time to reconnect with long-term goals. Before daily demands pull you in every direction, take a few moments to visualize your bigger vision. Remind yourself of what you're building and why. This keeps your actions aligned with purpose. When you start each day remembering what matters, you stop wasting energy on what doesn't. Consistency is everything. Anyone can wake up early once. Real change comes when you do it every day. The power of repetition transforms this habit into part of your identity. You stop thinking, "I have to wake up early," and start thinking, "This is who I am." That shift is where discipline becomes natural. Some mornings will feel easier than others. There will be days when you're tired, unmotivated, or tempted to stay in bed. Those are the days that matter most. Rising early, when it's difficult, builds strength that spills into every area of life. You're not just getting up, you're proving you can act regardless of feeling. That's where personal power grows. Waking early also improves focus throughout the day. The brain functions best after rest, especially when used with purpose in the first hours of the day. When you tackle meaningful tasks early, you work faster, think clearer, and produce better results. As the day continues and distractions multiply, you'll already have achieved significant progress. Morning control builds mental order. It gives you time to plan instead of rush. When you wake late, you chase the day. You skip breakfast, rush your thoughts, and lose control of time. That constant rushing creates stress and fatigue before the day even starts. Waking early reverses that. It lets you move at your own pace and sets a confident tone that lasts all day. Early mornings also bring perspective. The quiet before sunrise is unmatched. The world feels paused. In that silence, you gain insights that never appear in noise. You can think deeply about your goals, relationships, and decisions. Those reflections guide better choices. The person who spends time thinking before acting moves with direction, not impulse. People who master their mornings don't just have more time, they live with more control. They understand that success is not luck, it's discipline built into habits. Rising early may seem small, but it's a reflection of commitment. It shows you're willing to do what others won't, and over time, that difference becomes visible in everything you achieve. When you start your day with strength, the rest of the day obeys. You respond to challenges with composure because you've already centered your mind. You treat your time with respect because you've already planned your priorities. You feel calm even when others are rushing because you've already done what grounds you. Taking control of your morning means taking control of your destiny. It's a daily declaration that you are in charge of your life. Each sunrise becomes a new opportunity to realign with purpose, to move closer to your goals, and to grow in strength. You don't need to make it complicated, you just need to make it consistent. Wake up early, move your body, feed your mind, set your intentions, protect your peace. These simple acts, done daily, build a life of power, clarity, and confidence. The world belongs to those who greet it early, with discipline in their minds, strength in their actions, and purpose in their hearts. Chapter 50. Practice deep work and give full attention to one task. Real success doesn't come from being busy, it comes from working deeply. In a world addicted to noise and distraction, the ability to focus on one meaningful task has become a rare and powerful skill. Deep work is when your mind locks completely onto one thing and every bit of your energy flows in a single direction. It's when time fades away, distractions disappear, and your full attention merges with the task in front of you. This is where true progress, mastery, and innovation are born. Shallow work keeps you occupied, but deep work changes your life. Every day, countless people confuse activity with achievement. They bounce from one task to another, checking messages, scrolling through updates, and pretending to be productive. But at the end of the day, they've built nothing of value. Deep work requires discipline because it demands the one thing modern life resists: undivided attention. It's not easy to focus in a world designed to steal your focus, but that's why it's so powerful. The person who can concentrate deeply in a distracted age has an unmatched advantage. Practicing deep work starts with a decision. You must decide that quality matters more than quantity, That impact matters more than speed, and that real growth comes from depth, not motion. When you choose to focus fully on one task, you are training your brain to resist instant gratification. You're building strength in an area most people ignore. Attention is like a muscle. The more you train it, the stronger it becomes. The less you use it, the weaker it gets. The first step to mastering deep work is to create conditions that make focus natural. You can't expect concentration in a chaotic environment. Your surroundings must reflect your intention. Clear your workspace from clutter. Silence unnecessary notifications. Close extra tabs. Make your environment simple so that your attention has only one direction to go, toward your task. When your space is calm, your mind follows. Set a specific period for deep work each day. It doesn't have to be long at first. Even one focused hour of distraction, free effort can produce more value than an entire day of scattered attention. During that time, treat focus as sacred. Turn off your phone, block interruptions, and make it clear to yourself that this time belongs only to your goal. When you give your full presence to a single task, your productivity multiplies because your brain stops wasting energy on switching between things. Deep work also requires a clear goal. You can't focus deeply on something undefined. Before you begin, decide exactly what success looks like for that session. Know what you are trying to complete, learn, or create. Having a clear intention gives your mind direction. Without it, focus drifts easily. A strong focus session begins with clarity and ends with completion. The hardest part of deep work is often the first few minutes. The mind resists focus because it craves stimulation. That restlessness is normal. Push through it. After a short while, you'll enter a state of flow where work becomes effortless. You'll feel fully immersed and your performance will rise dramatically. Reaching that state takes patience, but once you experience it, you'll want to return to it often. It's a form of peace in motion, a rare space where your best ideas surface naturally. During deep work, treat distractions as the enemy of progress. Every time you stop to check something irrelevant, you reset your mental rhythm. Studies show that it can take over 20 minutes to regain full focus after an interruption. That means every distraction steals far more than a few seconds. It steals entire waves of momentum. Protect that momentum fiercely. Tell yourself that every interruption delays your growth, and make the choice to stay with your task no matter how tempting it is to drift. To stay deeply focused, use your senses to anchor yourself in the moment. Feel your breathing, the movement of your hands, or the rhythm of your thoughts. Staying physically aware keeps your mind grounded in the present. When your thoughts start to wander, gently bring them back. Don't fight distraction with frustration, return with patience. Mastery is built through repetition, not perfection. Deep work also thrives on structure. Schedule it at the same time each day so it becomes a habit rather than a decision. The more consistent you are, the easier it gets. Over time, your brain learns that certain hours belong to focused creation. You'll notice that distractions start losing their pull because your mind knows what to expect. Consistency transforms effort into identity. You stop trying to focus and start becoming someone who naturally does. Focus is not just mental, it's emotional. To work deeply, you must care about what you're doing. Passion fuels endurance. When you're emotionally invested, staying present feels natural. That's why it's important to align your deep work with meaningful goals. Don't spend your best energy on tasks that don't matter. Give your full attention to what moves you closer to your purpose. When your work connects with your values, discipline feels lighter. Taking short breaks between deep work sessions strengthens endurance. The brain is powerful but not limitless. After intense focus, give it space to recover. Step outside, breathe fresh air, move your body, or sit quietly for a few minutes. This renewal prevents burnout and keeps your next session sharp. Working endlessly doesn't equal productivity. Working deeply and recovering wisely does. Deep work builds confidence because it shows you what you're capable of when fully committed. You begin to see that most limits are self-imposed. You realize how much time you used to waste on half-focus. The satisfaction that comes from completing one meaningful task with full attention is unlike anything shallow work can give. It's the feeling of control, progress, and pride in your effort. Multitasking destroys this progress. The mind is not designed to hold two intense focuses at once. When you try, both suffer. You do many things poorly instead of one thing well. Train yourself to do one thing completely before moving to the next. Each completion strengthens your focus muscle and brings a sense of closure that energizes you for the next challenge. To deepen your focus further, manage your mental inputs. What you feed your mind affects its ability to stay still. If your free time is filled with noise, constant scrolling, random entertainment, or endless information, your brain becomes addicted to stimulation. It forgets how to rest in silence. Limit digital clutter. Spend time each day without screens or background noise. The quieter your inner world, the stronger your attention becomes when you need it. Deep work is not only about performance, it's also about peace. When you give yourself completely to one thing, anxiety fades. You're not juggling thoughts or worrying about what comes next. You're simply here, doing your best in this moment. That simplicity is grounding. It brings clarity to your thoughts and balance to your emotions. Many people search for peace through escape, but peace often comes through full presence. The skill of deep work also strengthens character. It teaches patience, discipline, and humility. It reminds you that greatness takes time. In a culture obsessed with speed, deep work demands that you slow down and commit to excellence. It shows you the beauty of steady progress, the kind that lasts because it's built with care, not haste. When you make deep work part of your routine, everything else in life improves. Your communication becomes sharper because you've learned to listen fully. Your relationships deepen because you're truly present. Your confidence rises because you see tangible growth. Focus becomes not just something you practice, but something you live. To begin this transformation, choose one task today that matters. Clear your space. Set a timer. Silence distractions. Then give that task your full attention until it's complete. Notice how your mind fights at first, then settles. Feel the satisfaction of completion without interruption. That single act may seem small, but it marks the beginning of a new level of mastery. Over time, deep work will change how you approach everything. You'll stop seeking easy rewards. You'll stop scattering your energy. You'll start craving the quiet intensity that comes with total immersion. You'll measure success not by how much you do, but by how deeply you do it. This is the essence of focus, giving your mind to what matters and refusing to be divided. The modern world celebrates multitasking, but true power lies in the ability to stay with one thing until it's done right. The more you live this way, the more control you'll have over your results, your time, and your peace of mind. Deep work is not just a practice, it's a way of living that builds strength, creativity, and calm. When you master it, distractions lose meaning, time becomes valuable, and your efforts begin to create real impact. One task at a time, with full attention, that's how ordinary people become extraordinary. Chapter 60: Strengthen discipline by doing what you resist the most. Discipline is not built when life feels easy, it's built when you face what you resist most. Growth never comes from comfort, it comes from confronting the habits, fears, and choices that keep you small. The things you avoid doing are usually the things that would transform your life if you did them consistently. Every act of avoidance weakens your will, every act of courage strengthens it. The path to self-mastery begins with doing the hard things, especially when you don't want to. The human mind naturally seeks comfort. It wants to protect you from discomfort, uncertainty, and effort. That instinct once kept people safe, but in modern life it often keeps them stagnant. The mind whispers reasons to delay, excuses to quit, and stories that justify inaction. Discipline is the refusal to obey that voice. It's the conscious decision to act according to your values instead of your impulses. When you do what you resist, you prove that your choices are stronger than your emotions. That is the essence of discipline. Every person has resistance points, those specific tasks or challenges that trigger avoidance. For some, it's waking early. For others, it's exercising, studying, or having difficult conversations. You know exactly what yours are. They appear every day, disguised as small discomforts. You tell yourself you'll handle them later, but later becomes never. Over time, those avoided moments create regret. The cure is simple but not easy. Turn toward the things you resist and take action immediately. When you begin doing what you resist, something powerful happens. The discomfort is temporary, but the pride lasts. The moment you complete something you didn't want to do, you feel stronger. That small victory sends a message to your subconscious: you are in control. Each time you overcome resistance, you rewrite the story of who you are. You stop identifying as someone who avoids difficulty and start seeing yourself as someone who follows through no matter what. Discipline grows through repetition. You don't need to conquer everything at once. Start small. Choose one thing you often avoid and commit to facing it daily. It could be waking without hitting snooze, finishing a task you keep postponing, or speaking up when you'd rather stay silent. The size of the task doesn't matter. The act of doing it despite resistance is what builds strength. Over time, your tolerance for discomfort expands, and your ability to stay consistent multiplies. There's a pattern in every form of resistance. It always appears strongest right before action. The moment you start moving, the weight begins to lift. Most people waste energy debating with themselves instead of simply beginning. Action kills resistance faster than thought. The more you think, the harder it feels. The more you act, the easier it becomes. That's why the most disciplined people rarely wait for motivation. They act their way into it. Discipline is not about punishment. It's about freedom. The freedom to do what must be done, regardless of mood. When you act only when it's convenient, your life becomes unpredictable. When you act with discipline, you gain control over your direction. Doing what you resist trains you to rely on habits, not emotions. It's the foundation of reliability, and reliability builds self-respect. You can't feel confident in yourself if you constantly break promises to yourself. Discipline restores that trust. The moments you least want to act are the moments that define your future. When you choose the hard path, you separate yourself from the crowd. Most people give in to comfort. They stop when things get difficult. They want the reward without the effort. But the few who push through resistance build something unshakable inside, a sense of strength that cannot be bought or faked. That strength becomes your identity. Facing resistance also reveals hidden fears. Often, the thing you avoid is connected to something deeper: fear of failure, rejection, or judgment. When you face resistance, you face those fears head-on. You discover they have less power than you imagined. Most fears grow in avoidance but shrink in action. By doing what you resist, you take away fear's control over your decisions. You learn that discomfort is survivable, and that realization changes everything. To strengthen discipline, structure your days around non-negotiables. Decide in advance which actions you'll take, regardless of how you feel. When emotion enters the decision-making process, discipline weakens. Remove choice wherever possible. If you've committed to exercise, don't debate it in the morning. Just start moving. If you've committed to study, begin the moment the clock strikes that time. Discipline thrives in clarity and routine. Accountability helps reinforce this mindset. Tell someone about your commitments or track them visibly. Seeing your progress builds momentum. Missing a day creates a reminder that discipline requires attention. Progress tracking turns discipline from an abstract idea into measurable growth. It keeps you honest when excuses start to whisper. Resistance never disappears completely, but your relationship with it changes. As you grow stronger, what once felt impossible becomes normal. You begin to crave the satisfaction that comes from completing hard things. The mind that once resisted challenge now looks for it, because challenge has become proof of growth. Discipline stops feeling like restriction and starts feeling like empowerment. When you live this way, you develop mental armor. You stop running from discomfort and start walking into it calmly. Each challenge becomes a chance to strengthen your character. Every act of discipline compounds like interest. A single disciplined day may feel small, but a year of them creates transformation. Discipline is not built in bursts, it's built in consistency. Doing what you resist also develops patience. Progress rarely happens instantly, and discipline teaches you to keep going even when results take time. You learn to value effort over immediate reward. That shift separates those who grow from those who quit. The disciplined person understands that the process itself is the reward, because it builds the kind of resilience success depends on. It's important to notice how your body and mind respond when resistance appears. Often it starts as tension, restlessness, or excuses forming in your head. Recognize those signs. Pause, breathe, and move forward anyway. You don't need to feel ready to act. Readiness comes from action, not from waiting. Every time you act while afraid, lazy, or uncertain, you teach your mind that it can function under pressure. That's real control. There will be days when you fail, when you give in to resistance and skip what you promised yourself. Those moments don't erase your progress, they remind you of your humanity. What matters most is what happens next. Recommit immediately. Don't let one missed day turn into a pattern. Discipline is not perfection, it's persistence. The strength lies in returning quickly after falling short. As discipline deepens, your sense of identity changes. You begin to trust your own word. You start viewing challenges differently, not as threats but as tests of strength. You stop chasing motivation because you've learned how to create it. You stop doubting yourself because you have evidence of your consistency. That quiet confidence grows each time you act despite resistance. Doing what you resist the most also improves other areas of life. Relationships strengthen because you handle difficult conversations instead of avoiding them. Work improves because you face complex tasks instead of postponing them. Health improves because you push through laziness and train anyway. Every area of life rewards discipline because it brings reliability and growth. There's a deep satisfaction in ending your day knowing you did the hard thing. That feeling cannot be replicated through comfort or convenience. It's the peace that comes from alignment between intention and action. The knowledge that you did what was required, not what was easy, gives you strength that lasts long after the moment passes. Discipline is a daily choice. It's a lifestyle built on small acts of courage repeated over time. Each morning gives you a new opportunity to practice. Each obstacle gives you a new chance to prove yourself. You won't always feel like doing it, but feelings are temporary, and discipline is permanent. The more you face what you resist, the freer you become. You stop living under the control of moods and excuses. You gain the power to act when others hesitate. You build the kind of character that can handle pressure, change, and uncertainty. That is the ultimate goal, not perfection, but power over yourself. Every person who has achieved something meaningful has done so by walking through resistance. They've learned that what feels uncomfortable today becomes strength tomorrow. You have that same ability. The next time resistance appears, don't turn away. Move toward it. Do the thing you least want to do. That's where your growth is waiting. That's where your discipline sharpens. That's where you begin to become unstoppable. Chapter 7a, create a daily plan and follow it with intention. A day without a plan is a day surrendered to chance. Most people wake up and let the world decide how they will spend their time. They react to messages, distractions, and other people's priorities, never realizing that every unplanned day quietly steals their potential. A daily plan is more than a list of tasks, it's a declaration of direction. It says, I choose what matters, and I will give my energy to it. Without that clarity, even hard work leads nowhere. With it, every effort builds momentum toward your vision. Planning your day gives structure to your mind. It removes confusion and replaces it with purpose. When you know exactly what needs to be done, you move with focus instead of hesitation. Your mind stops wasting energy on deciding what to do next. You simply act. The plan becomes your compass, keeping you centered when distractions pull at you. It doesn't have to be complicated. Even a simple plan built with intention can transform your productivity and peace. The key to effective planning is to begin before the day begins. Don't wait until the morning rush to figure out your schedule. Take a few minutes each evening to look ahead. Reflect on what you achieved today, what still matters tomorrow, and what deserves your full attention next. This quiet moment of preparation clears mental clutter and allows you to start your next day with certainty instead of confusion. Every plan should have a purpose, not just a checklist. Ask yourself why each task matters. Many people fill their to-do lists with busy work and wonder why they feel exhausted yet unfulfilled. Intentional planning means aligning your daily actions with your long-term goals. If an item doesn't move you closer to your vision, reconsider it. When everything you do connects to something meaningful, you stop wasting energy on things that don't matter. Start each morning by reviewing your plan before the day begins. Read it slowly and visualize yourself completing each task. This small practice primes your brain for focus and confidence. It shifts your mindset from reactivity to control. You begin the day with clarity, knowing exactly where your energy is going and why. That alone separates you from most people who start their mornings with chaos and distraction. Divide your day into clear blocks of time. Each block should have one focus: work, exercise, learning, rest. Mixing everything together weakens your attention. When you commit a block of time to one priority, you give it the respect it deserves. During that time, avoid multitasking. Give your full attention to what you're doing and allow yourself to enter deep focus. The power of a daily plan lies not in how much you schedule, but in how deeply you engage with each moment. Every plan must include moments of rest. The human mind cannot sustain endless intensity. Pausing between tasks prevents burnout and restores creativity. Rest is not laziness, it's renewal. A well-structured plan balances effort and recovery. Without that balance, productivity becomes exhaustion. When you schedule your rest with intention, you treat recovery as part of success, not a reward for it. Flexibility is just as important as structure. Life will always bring surprises. The goal of planning is not to control everything, but to stay centered even when things shift. When plans change, adapt without frustration. Reorganize and continue. Discipline means consistency of direction, not rigidity of schedule. You can move plans around, but never lose sight of the bigger purpose they serve. A strong daily plan also includes reflection. At the end of the day, look back at what you did, what worked well, what distracted you, what can improve tomorrow. Reflection turns experience into wisdom. Without it, you repeat the same mistakes. With it, you refine your process daily and become more efficient. Growth doesn't come from doing more, it comes from learning how to do better. Planning with intention builds self-respect. Each time you create a plan and follow it, you reinforce trust in yourself. You prove that your word has weight. This builds confidence and consistency, the two pillars of progress. When you trust yourself to follow through, you stop waiting for external motivation. You become your own source of momentum. To create a powerful plan, focus on priorities, not quantity. Choose a few important tasks that matter most and commit to finishing them fully. The mind performs best when it works on fewer things with deeper focus. Filling your day with endless tasks only divides your attention. Simplicity sharpens results. Identify what truly moves your life forward and give it the best hours of your day. Morning is the ideal time to start with high-value work. Your energy and willpower are strongest then. Avoid wasting that energy on minor tasks. Use your first few hours for the work that demands creativity, focus, or strategy. Save lighter tasks for later when your energy naturally dips. Planning in this way aligns your efforts with your body's natural rhythm, leading to more productivity with less strain. Use your plan as a tool for discipline, not pressure. It should guide you, not stress you. A plan isn't meant to make life rigid, it's meant to give you freedom from confusion. When you know what needs to be done, you free your mind from constant decision-making. This allows you to move calmly and confidently through your day, knowing each moment has purpose. The way you handle interruptions defines how strong your plan becomes. Distractions will appear, people will demand attention, and unexpected problems will arise. When they do, pause before reacting. Ask yourself if this interruption truly requires your attention now. Most things can wait. Protect your plan as you would protect your time, because they are the same thing. Time lost to distraction is time taken from your goals. Technology can help you organize but can also destroy focus if misused. Use it intentionally. Set reminders, timers, or digital calendars to structure your day, but avoid constant checking. Tools are meant to support your discipline, not replace it. Relying on structure too heavily can create dependency. Balance automation with awareness. A daily plan also strengthens your emotional stability. When life feels unpredictable, having structure provides a sense of control. You can't control everything around you, but you can control your approach to it. Each morning, when you review your plan, you remind yourself that you are capable of directing your energy wisely. That small ritual builds mental resilience. Don't expect perfection. Some days will go exactly as planned, others will not. That's natural. The value of planning lies not in flawless execution, but in continuous direction. Even when you accomplish only part of your plan, you've still acted with purpose. Progress always beats perfection. Over time, these consistent, intentional days add up to massive transformation. Your plan should reflect balance across all areas of life. Include time for work, learning, relationships, and self-care. A productive day that neglects your well-being is not success. True productivity includes peace of mind. When you give attention to every area of life in moderation, you create sustainable growth instead of burnout. It's important to plan not only what to do, but also how to be. Each morning, decide what kind of person you want to show up as: calm, focused, patient, strong. This emotional planning sets the tone for your behavior throughout the day. External plans manage tasks, internal plans manage character. Both are equally essential. Your plan is your daily contract with yourself. Every item on it represents a promise. When you follow through, you strengthen integrity. When you ignore it repeatedly, you weaken trust in yourself. Treat your plan seriously, even if it seems small. Those small completions build an unbreakable mindset. As you grow consistent with planning, you'll notice that time feels different. You'll stop feeling rushed because you're moving with purpose. You'll stop wasting energy on indecision because you already know your direction. Each completed day will bring peace instead of exhaustion. That's the reward of intentional structure. The practice of planning daily is one of the simplest yet most transformative habits you can build. It doesn't require talent, only awareness and consistency. Every evening, design your next day with clarity. Every morning, execute with focus. Every night, reflect with honesty. That rhythm creates order from chaos, progress from distraction, and confidence from uncertainty. When you plan your day and follow it with intention, you take ownership of your life. You no longer drift through time, you direct it. Each day becomes a deliberate step toward a greater vision, and when those days compound, your life becomes a masterpiece built through purpose, one planned day at a time. Chapter 80. Protect your time from people who drain your energy. Time is the one resource that never returns once it's spent, and yet most people give it away without realizing the cost. Every conversation, every interaction, and every relationship either fuels your growth or drains your energy. Protecting your time is not selfish, it's essential. The people you surround yourself with shape your focus, your confidence, and your direction. If you don't guard your energy, the world will consume it without care. Learning to protect your time from those who drain it is one of the highest forms of self-respect. There are people who bring peace when they enter your life, and people who bring exhaustion. Some lift you higher, while others pull you into their chaos. The difference often lies in intention. Energy-draining people are not always bad, but they often live in constant negativity, drama, or self-centeredness. They don't manage their emotions and instead project them onto others. Spending time around them feels heavy, and even short conversations leave you mentally tired. Recognizing these patterns is the first step to protecting yourself. You can sense an energy-draining person without words. After interacting with them, you feel distracted, irritated, or emotionally depleted. They might constantly complain, criticize, gossip, or demand attention without giving anything in return. They often resist growth and prefer to stay stuck, pulling others into their comfort zone of complaints. If you want to build focus and strength, you can't allow that energy to linger around you. The people you spend time with shape the way you think, and the way you think shapes your destiny. Protecting your time begins with awareness. Notice how you feel after spending time with someone. If you consistently feel drained, anxious, or unmotivated, That relationship is costing you more than you realize. You don't owe everyone unlimited access to your attention. Your energy is sacred. It fuels your work, your health, and your dreams. Giving it away freely to people who misuse it leaves you too empty to build what matters. You must learn the power of boundaries. A boundary is not rejection, it's protection. It's a clear line that says, "This is how I choose to live." People who truly respect you will respect your limits. Those who don't were never interested in your well-being. They were only interested in what they could take from you. Boundaries are a filter that separates genuine connections from energy drains. Setting them may feel uncomfortable at first, especially if you've spent years saying yes when you wanted to say no. But each boundary you create reinforces your strength and frees you from emotional chaos. You don't need to explain your boundaries to everyone. Quietly limiting access is often more powerful than confrontation. Reduce contact with people who constantly take without giving. If someone always brings problems but never solutions, learn to keep conversations brief. You are not responsible for fixing everyone's emotions. Compassion does not mean self-sacrifice. You can care about others without allowing them to drain your spirit. One of the biggest mistakes people make is confusing kindness with availability. Being kind doesn't mean saying yes to everything. It means treating others with respect while still honoring your time. Constantly helping people who refuse to help themselves only reinforces their dependency and your exhaustion. Real kindness is honest. Sometimes the most caring thing you can do is step back and let others face their own responsibilities. Your environment has as much influence as your habits. If you want to grow, surround yourself with people who challenge you to improve, who encourage discipline, and who celebrate your progress. These people don't drain energy, they multiply it. You'll know them because their presence feels refreshing. After talking with them, you feel motivated, calm, and focused. They remind you of your potential, not your problems. Building a circle of positive influence requires intentional effort, but it's one of the best investments you can make. Time management is not just about schedules, it's about emotional management. Protecting your time from draining people creates the mental space for creativity and clarity. You can't think clearly when your mind is occupied with someone else's drama. You can't stay productive when you're constantly putting out emotional fires that aren't yours to handle. Learning to detach from unnecessary chaos gives you back hours of focus and peace each day. You don't have to cut everyone off completely to protect your energy. Some relationships simply require distance. You can interact politely while keeping emotional space. The key is control. You decide how much access people have. Don't let guilt manipulate your choices. Guilt is often the weapon of those who benefit from your lack of boundaries. Your peace is not something you need to apologize for. In professional life, energy-draining people can appear as co-workers or clients who constantly complain or delay progress. Handle them with calm professionalism. Keep conversations short, stay factual, and avoid emotional involvement. Protecting your focus in these situations is as important as protecting it in your personal life. Emotional maturity means knowing when to engage and when to walk away. Sometimes the hardest people to distance yourself from are those closest to you. Family members or long-time friends might not understand your need for space. But protecting your time doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you refuse to sacrifice your growth. You can love someone and still recognize that their presence affects your mental clarity. Distance can be an act of love if it allows both people to grow. Protecting your time also means setting priorities. When your schedule is filled with purpose, there's less room for draining interactions. A well-structured life naturally filters out people who don't align with your goals. The more focused you become, the less tolerance you have for meaningless conversations or unproductive relationships. Time spent wisely attracts people who value progress, not gossip. Energy is contagious. If you spend your days surrounded by negativity, you will eventually absorb it. If you stay around people who complain constantly, your mind will start finding more reasons to complain. But when you choose company that inspires, your standards rise naturally. Protecting your time is not only about removing the wrong people, but also about intentionally seeking the right ones. Learning to say no is a powerful act of self-preservation. Every time you say yes to something meaningless, you say no to something important. You cannot please everyone without losing yourself. No is not rejection, it's clarity. When you decline unnecessary invitations or conversations, you create space for rest, creativity, and progress. The people who truly value you will never resent your focus. Protecting your time requires honesty. Be honest about how you feel, about what you want, and about who you allow near your goals. Pretending to tolerate energy drains only keeps you stuck in cycles of frustration. Speak truthfully and act decisively. The world respects those who respect their time. You'll notice that as you protect your time, your peace deepens. Life starts feeling lighter because you're no longer carrying other people's emotional weight. You begin to think clearly again. Your creativity returns. You find joy in solitude and meaning in your work. This clarity is not accidental. It's the result of protecting your most valuable resource, attention. There will always be people who misunderstand your boundaries. They might call you distant or selfish, but that's only because your strength exposes their dependency. Stay firm. Those who belong in your life will adapt. Those who don't will drift away naturally. Don't chase anyone. Protecting your energy ensures that those who remain are there for the right reasons. Every minute you spend with the wrong people is time stolen from your growth. The moments you save by protecting your time compound into progress, focus, and peace. You can't live an extraordinary life while surrounded by mediocrity and negativity. Protecting your time is how you create space for greatness to unfold. Your time is your life. Guard it carefully. Choose people who uplift, inspire, and challenge you to become better. Distance yourself from those who drain your energy and distract you from your purpose. Every boundary you set is an act of love toward your future self. Protecting your time is not a wall, it's a gate that only opens for what strengthens you. When you learn to do this, your mind becomes clear, your energy stays strong, and your life begins to move in the direction of peace, focus, and true fulfillment. Chapter 90. Replace procrastination with quick and confident action. Procrastination is the silent thief of potential. Every day spent delaying action is a day of opportunity lost. The longer you wait, the heavier the task feels and the stronger the resistance becomes. Action is the antidote. Quick and confident action creates momentum, builds courage, and strengthens your ability to follow through. Waiting for the perfect moment only keeps you stuck because perfection is a moving target. Progress comes to those who act decisively, even when conditions are imperfect. Most people wait because fear disguises itself as caution. Fear of failure, judgment, or imperfection convinces the mind that delay is safety. The problem is that safety never produces results. The world rewards action. You can't improve a skill by thinking about it endlessly, and you can't build a life by waiting for readiness. Every minute spent hesitating is time given to doubt. The key to overcoming procrastination is to act immediately, even if your confidence feels incomplete. Quick action begins with clarity. Before moving, know exactly what your first step is. Break tasks into simple, manageable steps. The brain resists ambiguity, and uncertainty fuels procrastination. When the next action is clear and doable, hesitation fades. Even small steps taken with resolve generate momentum. Momentum is the force that transforms intention into achievement. Confidence grows through doing. Each completed action reinforces trust in your abilities. The more you act, the more you see that you can handle challenges. Waiting for confidence before acting is a trap. Confidence is not a prerequisite, it is a byproduct of repeated, deliberate action. Take the first step, no matter how small, and the rest follows naturally. Timing is less important than consistency. Many people overthink the perfect time to start. They plan endlessly, gather every resource, or wait for the ideal conditions. In reality, action itself creates the conditions you need. Moving forward illuminates obstacles, teaches solutions, and generates clarity. Waiting only prolongs confusion. Start now and adjust as you go. Procrastination thrives on distraction. Social media, unnecessary tasks, or idle thoughts provide excuses for delay. To replace procrastination with action, remove these distractions before you begin. Silence notifications, clear your workspace, and set aside mental space for the task at hand. Focused energy moves faster and more effectively than scattered effort. The less the mind is pulled away, the easier it becomes to act decisively. Immediate action is fueled by urgency, not panic. Urgency creates energy without anxiety. When you treat a task with respect for its importance, your mind sharpens and your body responds. The longer you postpone, the more the task grows in perceived difficulty. By acting quickly, you shrink the challenge to its true size. One deliberate step often reveals that the task was simpler than imagined. Discipline supports quick action. When you commit to completing tasks promptly, you train your mind to respond instead of delay. Treat action as a non-negotiable rule. When a task arises, take it seriously and begin immediately. Avoid mental negotiation or justification for delay. Each time you bypass excuses, you strengthen self-control and shorten the gap between intention and result. Visualization can also aid decisive action. Before starting, briefly imagine the task completed successfully. This mental rehearsal reduces anxiety, builds focus, and primes your mind for action. When your brain already sees the outcome, your body is more likely to follow with speed and precision. Mental preparation paired with immediate execution is a formula for consistent progress. Procrastination often disguises itself as research. Endless planning and information gathering can feel productive, but it's really avoidance. Knowledge without action has no value. Action is the proof of intention. Use research to inform, not to stall. Once you have enough understanding, move forward confidently. Adjustments can be made along the way, but nothing will be achieved while waiting. Break resistance by committing publicly. Tell someone your plan, even briefly, and take the first step immediately. Accountability triggers momentum and reduces excuses. Sharing your intention creates a small social pressure that reinforces action. The first step is often the hardest, but once taken, inertia works in your favor. Progress compounds from that initial movement. Celebrate small wins to reinforce the habit of immediate action. Each completed step, no matter how minor, builds confidence and reduces the fear associated with future tasks. Procrastination is a pattern that thrives on doubt and hesitation. Replacing it with action rewires your brain, creating a sense of capability and control. Repetition strengthens this neural pathway, making swift execution increasingly natural. Energy management also affects action. Procrastination increases when mental or physical energy is low. Maintain consistent routines that include rest, movement, and nutrition. A tired brain resists action more than an energetic one. Align your highest energy periods with your most important tasks. Acting quickly is easier when your mind and body are prepared to respond. Avoid overanalyzing potential obstacles before starting. The mind exaggerates difficulty when it anticipates problems. Action exposes reality faster than worry does. The sooner you begin, the sooner solutions become visible. Waiting for certainty is a form of stagnation. Courageous, prompt movement often reveals that fears were smaller than expected. Create rituals to make immediate action habitual. For example, commit to starting every task within 5 minutes of recognizing it. Use timers or cues to eliminate delay. Habits reduce reliance on motivation, which is fleeting. When acting promptly becomes automatic, procrastination loses its power. Momentum becomes a default state rather than a conscious effort. Procrastination is often linked to perfectionism. Fear that a task won't be flawless encourages delay. Replace this mindset with the principle that done is better than perfect. Completion allows you to learn, iterate, and improve. Progress always outweighs idealized stagnation. Every finished action builds experience, which is far more valuable than indefinite preparation. Quick and confident action is also about emotional resilience. Expect discomfort, resistance, or doubt at the start of every task. These feelings are natural signals that you are moving beyond comfort zones. Acting in spite of them develops mental toughness. Over time, what once caused hesitation becomes manageable, and your response to challenge becomes automatic. Track your actions to reinforce momentum. Seeing progress visually, whether through a checklist, journal, or digital tool, confirms that immediate action produces results. Tangible evidence motivates further action and strengthens the habit. Procrastination fades when action becomes measurable, rewarding, and consistent. Ultimately, replacing procrastination with action is about reclaiming control. Every delayed choice is an opportunity surrendered to inertia. Each deliberate step is a victory over doubt and hesitation. Acting promptly creates confidence, progress, and clarity. The more consistently you practice quick and confident execution, the more your life aligns with your intentions. Mastery begins when hesitation ends and movement becomes your default response. When action becomes habitual, your relationship with challenges changes. Tasks no longer intimidate because you've trained yourself to respond quickly and decisively. Confidence grows not from circumstances but from consistent execution. Procrastination diminishes, replaced by momentum and self-trust. Immediate action is the foundation of growth, achievement, and freedom. Quick action is not just about speed, it's about decisiveness and commitment. Approach tasks with clarity, focus, and resolve. Prioritize, start immediately, and adjust along the way. Momentum compounds. Results follow, habits strengthen, confidence expands. Over time, your capacity for decisive execution transforms every area of life, leaving procrastination powerless and potential limitless. Chapter 1: Develop patience and stay consistent when progress feels slow. Progress is rarely immediate. Most meaningful growth unfolds gradually, often slower than we expect. In a world addicted to instant results, the slow pace of real achievement can feel frustrating. Patience is the bridge between effort and results. Consistency is the engine that transforms repeated effort into lasting change. Both qualities are essential if you want to build something meaningful. Without patience, you abandon tasks prematurely. Without consistency, even your best efforts fail to compound. True progress rewards those who endure, not those who rush. Developing patience begins with understanding the natural rhythm of growth. Nothing significant happens overnight. Skills, strength, and mastery require time. The small daily actions you take may feel invisible, but they accumulate like drops filling a bucket. One push-up, one completed task, one focused hour may seem insignificant, but over weeks and months, they produce tangible results. Recognizing the power of small, consistent steps prevents discouragement when immediate results don't appear. Consistency is the companion to patience. Doing the same positive actions every day strengthens habits and builds momentum. It doesn't matter if the results are slow at first. What matters is that you continue. Your efforts are like planting seeds. Without water and sunlight applied regularly, nothing grows. The act of showing up itself reinforces skill, discipline, and resilience. Skipping days weakens progress and undermines confidence, while steady action compounds quietly into mastery. Slow progress often triggers doubt. You might question whether your efforts matter or if your goal is achievable. This is normal. Patience means trusting the process even when results are delayed. Confidence grows not from immediate success, but from repeated commitment. The knowledge that you are doing the right things consistently builds a foundation stronger than any short-term outcome could provide. Focus on effort, not outcome. Results are influenced by factors beyond your control, but effort is entirely within it. Doing your best every day, no matter the pace of progress, ensures that you are moving forward. Patience grows when you shift attention from external validation to internal commitment. Every action taken consistently becomes evidence of your dedication, reinforcing belief in yourself. Break long-term goals into smaller milestones. Long-term progress can feel overwhelming if viewed as a single leap. Milestones provide checkpoints that reveal growth over time. Each small win builds confidence and reinforces persistence. When the path seems slow, focusing on the next achievable step keeps you moving steadily instead of paralyzed by frustration. Incremental progress is often invisible day to day but undeniable in retrospect. Patience also requires managing expectations. Society celebrates immediate success stories, making slow progress seem abnormal. Understanding that steady, consistent work produces real results allows you to measure growth by effort rather than comparison. Stop measuring your journey against the highlight reels of others. Your pace is your pace. Consistency in your chosen direction matters far more than speed. Maintain routines that support consistent action. Structured habits reduce reliance on motivation, which fluctuates. Discipline transforms effort into habit, and habit makes progress predictable. Show up daily even when enthusiasm fades. Doing so builds resilience and strengthens your ability to endure challenges without abandoning your goals. Consistency becomes effortless when embedded into your daily rhythm. Patience and consistency require emotional regulation. Slow progress can trigger frustration, anxiety, or discouragement. Notice these emotions without judgment and redirect attention to action. Frustration is temporary, consistent effort produces lasting impact. Managing your emotions prevents setbacks caused by impulsive decisions or abandonment of tasks. Mental resilience grows alongside your commitment to steady work. Visualize long-term outcomes to maintain motivation. Keeping a clear vision of your goal helps you endure the slow pace of progress. Imagine the life, skill, or result you are building. When setbacks occur, that vision provides perspective. It reminds you that temporary delays are part of a larger process. Long-term clarity reduces the urge to quit and strengthens patience in the moment. Document your progress to see slow change accumulate. Keeping a record of daily actions, completed tasks, or improvements provides tangible evidence of growth. When progress feels invisible, reviewing your documentation reveals the quiet accumulation of effort. This practice reinforces belief in the process and strengthens patience because it shows that every action matters. Slow progress teaches humility. It reminds you that mastery requires time, practice, and repetition. It encourages reflection on the steps taken and the lessons learned. Accepting the gradual pace prevents frustration and fosters appreciation for the journey. Those who endure slow progress gain wisdom and perspective unavailable to those seeking immediate gratification. Consistency under slow results develops grit. Grit is the combination of perseverance and passion toward long-term goals. By remaining patient while taking deliberate action, you cultivate the mental toughness necessary for high achievement. Every day you persist, your capacity to handle difficulty and delay strengthens. The longer you commit, the more capable you become of overcoming challenges that would deter most people. Learn to celebrate effort itself. Progress is not always visible externally, but effort is measurable and controllable. Acknowledging consistent action reinforces patience and sustains motivation. When the mind values effort over immediate results, consistency becomes rewarding, and slow progress feels like steady achievement. Avoid the trap of rushing. Hastening outcomes often leads to mistakes, burnout, or superficial results. Slow, deliberate action ensures quality and learning. Consistency compounded with patience produces depth that speed cannot match. By honoring the process, you build lasting competence instead of temporary gains. Remember that setbacks are part of progress. Obstacles will slow advancement and test resolve. Patience allows you to endure these challenges without abandoning your path. Consistency ensures that each day continues to contribute to your goals, even if external results appear delayed. Setbacks are temporary interruptions, not permanent failures, when met with steady action. Surround yourself with examples of consistent effort. Witnessing others achieve results through patience and perseverance reinforces your own commitment. These examples provide perspective and proof that slow, steady work leads to meaningful accomplishment. Community and mentorship strengthen resolve and inspire ongoing dedication. Developing patience also improves decision-making. Rushing often leads to errors or impulsive choices. Consistent action at a measured pace allows time to gather information, consider alternatives, and act thoughtfully. Patience ensures that every step is deliberate, improving the quality of outcomes while sustaining long-term momentum. Focus on the long-term benefits rather than short-term frustrations. Consistent action, even when imperceptible, compounds over weeks, months, and years. What feels insignificant today may be monumental in the future. Patience transforms perception, allowing you to see value in steady progress and maintain motivation through delays. Consistency creates identity. By repeatedly taking the same actions, you begin to see yourself as someone who follows through. Patience reinforces that identity because it teaches endurance. Together they form a foundation of reliability, self-trust, and resilience. Over time, This identity shapes behavior automatically, making focus and commitment second nature. Every day of consistent effort, no matter how slow, strengthens your trajectory. Patience is the discipline to continue despite frustration, and consistency is the habit of showing up regardless of circumstances. Combining the two ensures that your work compounds quietly, producing results that are impossible to achieve through haste or sporadic effort. In the end, slow progress is not a flaw, it is proof of effort, learning, and growth. Patience teaches endurance, consistency builds momentum, and together they form the foundation for lasting success. The small actions taken every day, repeated over time, transform into extraordinary achievements. By staying steady when results feel distant, you cultivate mastery, resilience, and a life shaped by intentional effort. Chapter 11. Focus on progress, not perfection, to keep momentum alive. Perfection is an illusion that kills momentum before it begins. Many people stall because they fear their work will never meet an impossible standard. They wait for flawless conditions, flawless ideas, and flawless execution. The result is stagnation. Momentum thrives on movement, not flawlessness. Progress, no matter how small, compounds over time. Each forward step, even if imperfect, builds confidence, skill, and clarity. Choosing progress over perfection is a conscious decision to keep moving despite uncertainty or mistakes. Focusing on progress begins with mindset. Accept that mistakes are part of growth. Every attempt teaches you something new. Perfectionists see errors as failure, but in reality, they are data. Each misstep provides insight into how to adjust, improve, and continue. The faster you embrace mistakes as feedback rather than judgment, the faster you can sustain momentum. Action fuels progress. Waiting for perfect ideas or perfect timing slows you down. Begin now with what you have and refine along the way. Iteration is far more effective than waiting. The first version does not need to be perfect, it needs to exist. Momentum is created by action, and action is strengthened by repeated practice. Each step forward makes the next step easier and more confident. Small wins are critical to sustaining forward motion. Completing a task, finishing a draft, or finishing a single exercise may seem minor, but it signals your brain that progress is achievable. These wins accumulate into a sense of competence. Focusing on them instead of unattainable standards maintains motivation and creates an upward spiral of effort and confidence. Perfectionism often leads to procrastination. The fear of producing something flawed causes delay, hesitation, and self-doubt. By prioritizing progress, you break this cycle. Any step, regardless of perceived quality, moves you forward. Momentum is created when movement outweighs hesitation. The act of doing is itself a victory over stagnation. Measurement shifts focus from outcomes to improvement. Track small achievements, note skill gains, and celebrate completion. By observing progress, you reinforce the value of action over idealized results. Seeing tangible improvement, even if not perfect, creates a sense of accomplishment that motivates continued effort. This reinforcement trains the brain to value effort, resilience, and consistent growth. Perfection can also limit creativity. When the goal is flawless execution, the mind becomes rigid, avoiding experimentation. Progress embraces trial and error, exploration, and learning. Innovation emerges from iteration, not from waiting for a perfect plan. By valuing improvement over perfection, you open the door to discovery and more effective solutions. Comparisons amplify perfectionism. Watching others' highlight reels can create unrealistic expectations, leading to self-doubt and stagnation. Progress focuses on your own journey. Measure your growth against your previous performance, not someone else's standard. This keeps momentum alive by reinforcing personal improvement instead of external validation. Consistency is strengthened when progress is prioritized. Daily effort, even if imperfect, compounds into significant results. Perfectionism creates fatigue because it demands constant flawless performance. Progress-driven work reduces pressure, allowing consistent action to flourish. Over time, small improvements create remarkable transformation, far exceeding the sporadic bursts that perfection often produces. Imperfect action develops resilience. Each time you move forward without perfection, you prove that effort matters more than fear. You learn to navigate challenges despite uncertainty. Resilience grows as you face obstacles and adapt without expecting flawless conditions. The more you embrace this mindset, the less resistance slows you down. Focus on solutions rather than flaws. When errors occur, identify actionable steps to improve instead of obsessing over what went wrong. This shift keeps energy directed toward progress rather than paralysis. Momentum is maintained when attention is directed at what can be done next, not what cannot be fixed retroactively. Prioritization supports progress over perfection. Identify high-value actions that produce meaningful results and start there. Avoid being consumed by minor details that do not significantly impact outcomes. Energy directed toward essential tasks accelerates improvement and prevents the trap of over-polishing insignificant elements. Time management reinforces this approach. Set limits for tasks to prevent endless refinement. Deadlines create urgency and force decisions, encouraging forward motion. Momentum is sustained when action is continuous, not stalled by constant adjustment in pursuit of perfection. Constraints improve efficiency and build discipline. Mindset shifts include self-compassion. Acknowledge effort and progress rather than criticizing imperfections. Rewarding yourself for incremental success strengthens confidence and encourages continued action. Compassion reduces the fear of mistakes, allowing progress to remain the focus. When the mind is kind to itself, it can move faster and more freely. Focus on learning instead of flawless outcomes. Every completed task, regardless of quality, teaches something new. Knowledge gained from experience compounds faster than theoretical perfection. Each attempt provides insight, builds skill, and enhances future performance. Learning reinforces progress and keeps momentum alive. Momentum also relies on visible evidence of movement. Track your work, mark completions, and note improvements. Visibility reinforces the value of effort over perfection. When you see tangible proof that you are moving forward, motivation naturally increases and hesitation decreases. Progress becomes self-reinforcing. Avoid the trap of overthinking. Analyzing every detail in search of perfection slows execution. Focus on completing actions rather than imagining every possible flaw. Forward movement produces clarity. Action clarifies what works and what doesn't, while perfectionist planning often leads to confusion and delay. Collaboration benefits from progress-oriented thinking. Waiting for perfect input from others delays results. Shared efforts move forward when participants focus on improvement rather than ideal outcomes. Progress builds teamwork and collective momentum. A group aligned toward forward motion achieves more than a group paralyzed by perfection. Reflect regularly on what has been accomplished, not what remains imperfect. Recognition of completed steps fuels motivation and reinforces the habit of consistent action. Reflection creates perspective, showing that despite flaws, substantial progress is occurring. This perspective encourages sustained effort rather than discouragement. Perfectionism can prevent risk-taking. Fear of imperfection reduces willingness to try new strategies or explore innovative ideas. Progress-focused action encourages experimentation. Each attempt builds knowledge and skill, reinforcing confidence to tackle increasingly challenging tasks. Risk becomes opportunity when progress is prioritized. Sustaining momentum depends on aligning expectations with reality. Accept that results will never be flawless. Every endeavor contains imperfections. The goal is not to achieve perfection but to continue advancing. Consistent improvement, even small, maintains energy, drive, and engagement. Momentum grows as effort compounds over time. Focusing on progress over perfection is ultimately a strategy for long-term achievement. Daily action, learning from mistakes, celebrating small wins, and refining along the way ensures that you move steadily toward your goals. Perfection is a mirage that delays results. Progress is tangible and cumulative. By committing to improvement instead of flawlessness, momentum is preserved, growth accelerates, and success becomes inevitable. Chapter 1:12a. Build mental toughness by choosing growth over comfort daily. Mental toughness is not something you are born with. It is forged through daily choices. Every day presents a decision: stay comfortable or push toward growth. Comfort feels safe, familiar, and easy, but growth requires effort, challenge, and often discomfort. Choosing growth consistently strengthens the mind. sharpens resilience, and builds the kind of focus that carries you through adversity. Comfort is temporary pleasure, growth is lasting strength. Every action you take to expand your limits is a vote for the person you want to become. The first step to building mental toughness is awareness. Recognize when you are choosing convenience over challenge. It could be as simple as skipping a workout, avoiding a difficult conversation, or postponing a task that stretches your abilities. Each small avoidance reinforces weakness and narrows potential. Awareness allows you to identify patterns of avoidance and consciously replace them with deliberate action. Discomfort is the training ground for resilience. Each time you face something difficult, instead of retreating, your mind learns that challenges are manageable. Avoiding discomfort strengthens only habit and fear, while confronting it strengthens confidence and skill. Mental toughness grows when you intentionally place yourself in situations that test your patience, endurance, and determination. It is cultivated by exposure to difficulty, not by sheltering yourself from it. Daily consistency compounds growth. Mental toughness is not built in a single heroic effort, it is the result of repeated choices over time. Choosing the harder path each day builds a mindset that does not yield under pressure. Small, repeated actions like pushing through fatigue, practicing discipline, or seeking learning opportunities accumulate, creating a robust inner strength that shows up naturally when challenges arise. Growth requires sacrifice. Comfort tempts the mind with ease and avoidance, but progress demands prioritization, delayed gratification, and perseverance. Choosing growth means making decisions aligned with long-term goals instead of short-term pleasure. It means taking the difficult action today that will strengthen tomorrow. Each sacrifice is an investment in your character, endurance, and capabilities. Focus is strengthened when you choose growth over comfort. When you resist distraction and temptation, your mental clarity improves. Choosing challenging tasks over easy ones sharpens problem-solving skills and builds decision-making confidence. Mental toughness is not only the ability to endure, it is also the capacity to focus intently on what matters most despite competing impulses. Failure is a tool, not a threat. Choosing growth daily means taking risks, trying new approaches, and stepping into uncertainty. Failure becomes a teacher rather than a source of discouragement. Each setback provides feedback and a chance to adapt. Those who embrace growth understand that discomfort, mistakes, and resistance are necessary for building strength and resilience. Avoiding them only slows progress and weakens resolve. Self-discipline is a cornerstone of mental toughness. Discipline is the daily act of choosing growth when comfort calls louder. It manifests in small decisions like showing up to work, maintaining focus during difficult tasks, and resisting impulsive distractions. Over time, disciplined habits form a mindset that does not seek ease at the expense of development. Each act of discipline reinforces your capacity to endure bigger challenges. Growth-oriented thinking strengthens emotional resilience. Mental toughness is not only physical endurance, but also the ability to remain calm, composed, and determined under pressure. Choosing growth means confronting fears, regulating impulses, and managing emotions effectively. Emotional control develops as you practice facing challenges instead of retreating to comfort zones. The mind learns to respond rather than react, creating a steady foundation for high achievement. Consistency in discomfort reduces fear over time. The more frequently you face challenging situations, the less intimidating they become. Each encounter teaches that difficulty is manageable. What once felt unbearable gradually becomes familiar. Mental toughness grows not by avoiding challenges, but by repeatedly proving to yourself that you can withstand them. The mind becomes stronger each time you step beyond your comfort zone. Focus on long-term impact rather than immediate relief. Comfort is fleeting, while growth creates lasting benefits. When tempted to choose the easy path, remind yourself of the person you want to become and the goals you aim to achieve. Mental toughness is reinforced when daily decisions align with vision rather than short-term convenience. This perspective maintains momentum and prevents regression during challenging periods. Environment plays a critical role. Surround yourself with people who encourage growth, challenge your assumptions, and provide constructive feedback. Avoid environments that celebrate ease, distraction, or complacency. The people and conditions you expose yourself to influence the frequency with which you choose growth over comfort. A supportive environment accelerates mental toughness by reinforcing disciplined, forward-thinking habits. Visualization strengthens commitment to growth. Mentally rehearsing difficult tasks, potential challenges, and the feelings of persistence primes your mind for action. Visualization helps reduce anxiety, increase confidence, and maintain focus when discomfort arises. Seeing yourself successfully navigate challenges before they occur reinforces the daily habit of choosing effort over ease. Physical health is tied to mental resilience. Pushing the body through challenging workouts, maintaining nutrition, and practicing rest disciplines strengthens both stamina and mental endurance. Physical effort reinforces the mind's ability to tolerate discomfort. Mental toughness grows when the body experiences controlled stress that teaches endurance, patience, and persistence. Reflection deepens growth. After challenging experiences, evaluate how you responded. Did you choose effort over ease? Did you persist through difficulty? Identify lessons learned and adjust strategies for the future. Reflection ensures that mental toughness is not developed passively, but actively reinforced through understanding and refinement. Each reflective session strengthens decision-making and resilience. Set measurable growth goals to maintain focus. Daily choices toward improvement must be directed by clear objectives. Goals provide motivation when comfort tempts retreat and a framework for evaluating progress. Without targets, daily decisions may lack direction and growth becomes inconsistent. Measured progress creates a sense of accomplishment that fuels continued effort. Challenge your comfort zones intentionally. Actively seek situations that test your limits, whether intellectually, emotionally, or physically. Regularly placing yourself in challenging conditions accelerates growth. Mental toughness develops fastest when exposure to difficulty is deliberate rather than accidental. The mind strengthens each time it overcomes self-imposed limitations. Accountability reinforces mental toughness. Share your growth commitments with mentors, peers, or a support network. External accountability creates additional pressure to act consistently, even when comfort calls. When others witness your progress, you are more likely to honor your daily decisions toward effort and improvement. Accountability solidifies habits that strengthen resilience. Patience complements mental toughness. Growth is not immediate, and the path often involves discomfort, mistakes, and incremental progress. Mental toughness is the ability to persist without immediate reward, trusting that consistent effort compounds over time. Patience allows you to endure struggles without surrendering to short-term convenience or temporary discomfort. Daily choice is the foundation of strength. Every time you consciously choose growth over comfort, you reinforce your resilience, your focus, and your capacity to overcome challenges. Each decision, however small, builds a mental framework that prepares you for greater adversity. By embracing growth consistently, you train yourself to act decisively, endure hardships, and pursue goals with unwavering determination. Mental toughness is the result of repeated, deliberate effort to prioritize growth over ease. Each day offers opportunities to challenge yourself, expand your limits, and strengthen your resolve. The accumulation of these choices creates a mind that thrives under pressure, adapts to challenges, and pursues excellence relentlessly. Choosing growth daily is the practice that transforms comfort into capability, hesitation into action, and potential into achievement. Chapter 13a. Turn distractions into opportunities to strengthen your willpower. Distractions are inevitable in modern life. Phones buzz, notifications pop up, conversations demand attention, and unexpected tasks appear. Every distraction is a test of your focus and self-control. Most people respond reflexively, allowing their attention to scatter and energy to dissipate. This is where willpower is developed. Each time you resist distraction, you strengthen mental discipline and train your mind to stay aligned with your priorities. Turning distractions into opportunities is not about avoidance. It is about conscious engagement with the challenge of self-mastery. The first step is awareness. Recognize when your attention is being pulled away. Distractions are often subtle: a thought about checking social media, a random impulse to switch tasks, or a tendency to engage in meaningless conversation, awareness allows you to pause before reacting. The pause is where choice resides. You can respond automatically, or you can act deliberately, using the moment to strengthen your willpower. Every distraction contains an opportunity to practice focus. When an email arrives mid-task, instead of giving in immediately, observe the urge and consciously continue your work. Each resisted impulse strengthens neural pathways associated with self-control. Willpower grows through repeated practice, much like a muscle. The more you exercise it, the stronger it becomes. Prioritization is key. Identify which tasks are essential and which distractions are trivial. When your goals are clear, resisting low-value interruptions becomes easier. Knowing your purpose creates a filter that automatically distinguishes meaningful engagement from mindless diversion. The stronger your clarity about what matters, the more efficiently your willpower can respond. Timing influences your ability to resist distractions. Willpower is strongest when your mind is fresh. Schedule demanding tasks during peak energy periods and save less critical work for low-energy moments. Environmental control complements this approach. Remove obvious temptations, organize your workspace, and limit exposure to unnecessary interruptions. Designing your surroundings to support focus turns distraction into a manageable challenge rather than a constant threat. Deliberate practice reinforces resistance. Set specific periods where distractions are allowed and other times where complete focus is required. Training the mind in controlled bursts of attention strengthens the ability to stay engaged under less structured conditions. Willpower grows as the mind learns to handle challenge progressively, building resilience and stamina over time. Reframe the perception of distractions. Instead of viewing them as obstacles, treat them as opportunities to practice discipline. Every time you notice an urge and redirect your attention, you reinforce your commitment to your goals. Each conscious choice is evidence that you can control your impulses and maintain focus. Gradually, resisting distractions becomes instinctive rather than forced. Use mindfulness to strengthen awareness. Notice your thoughts, urges, and emotional responses when distractions appear. Label them without judgment. This is a distraction, and I choose to continue. Mindfulness creates a mental buffer that allows you to respond with intention instead of reacting automatically. Willpower is exercised in the space between stimulus and response. Chunking tasks reduces susceptibility to distractions. Breaking work into smaller, clearly defined segments allows focus to remain intense. When attention is divided across vague or sprawling tasks, the mind seeks relief through diversion. Structuring work in actionable units keeps engagement high and provides frequent opportunities to celebrate progress, reinforcing willpower and focus simultaneously. Delayed gratification reinforces mental strength. When a tempting distraction arises, consciously postpone engagement until essential work is completed. Resisting immediate impulses strengthens self-control and conditions the brain to value long-term rewards over temporary pleasure. Every delay practiced intentionally builds a stronger ability to stay on course despite external pressures. Reflection deepens the learning process. After periods of focused work, review moments where distractions arose and note how you responded. What resisted impulses successfully? Where did attention lapse? Reflection provides insight and informs strategies for future situations. The more consciously you engage with distraction, the stronger your willpower becomes over time. Accountability magnifies results. Share your focus goals with a peer, mentor, or coach. Knowing that someone else is aware of your commitments creates additional motivation to resist distraction. External observation reinforces internal discipline and adds a layer of pressure that encourages consistent effort. Each successful period of focus builds confidence in your ability to maintain self-control independently. Habits reduce reliance on sheer willpower. Creating routines around work, focus, and attention minimizes the need to constantly battle distraction. Habits automate behavior, so resisting interruptions becomes part of the default response rather than an ongoing struggle. Willpower is strongest when habits reduce cognitive load and preserve energy for challenges that require conscious effort. Celebrate small victories to reinforce progress. Every time you successfully resist a distraction, acknowledge the achievement. This positive reinforcement strengthens neural connections associated with self-control. Momentum builds as repeated successes compound, turning resistance into a natural behavior rather than a forced exercise. Use environmental cues strategically. Signals like timers, designated workspaces, and visual reminders can anchor attention. External prompts reduce the mental effort required to resist distractions, making it easier to maintain focus consistently. Over time, these cues integrate into habit, allowing willpower to be applied to increasingly complex challenges. Emotional regulation strengthens resistance. Distractions often exploit emotional triggers such as boredom, frustration, or anxiety. By observing emotions without reacting impulsively, you maintain focus and prevent energy drain. Mental toughness grows as you learn to respond thoughtfully rather than reflexively. Emotional mastery and willpower are deeply interconnected. Turn unavoidable distractions into productive opportunities. If an interruption occurs, integrate it purposefully into your workflow instead of allowing it to derail focus. For example, use short breaks to review priorities or reflect on progress. Redirecting attention without resisting entirely can reinforce adaptability while maintaining overall productivity. Flexibility enhances the capacity to stay on course in dynamic environments. Challenge yourself progressively. Start with manageable periods of focus, then gradually increase duration and intensity. Each step builds endurance and strengthens the brain's capacity to resist distractions. Willpower is a skill honed incrementally. Attempting too much too quickly risks burnout, but consistent, measured practice produces sustainable improvement. Account for energy levels. Distractions are harder to resist when fatigue, hunger, or stress is present. Manage energy proactively with rest, nutrition, and physical activity. A strong mind relies on a strong body. By maintaining high energy, resisting impulses becomes less taxing and focus becomes easier to sustain over time. Visualize the cost of giving in to distraction. Before engaging in tempting diversions, consider how it impacts your goals. Awareness of consequences strengthens commitment to focus. Every choice to stay on task reinforces the association between self-control and desired outcomes, creating a positive feedback loop that strengthens willpower. Ultimately, distraction is a mirror that reveals the strength of your focus. Each interruption is an opportunity to practice self-mastery, refine attention, and reinforce commitment to your objectives. Willpower is built incrementally, strengthened every time you resist temptation, redirect attention, and persist in the face of interruption. Mastery over distraction is mastery over self, and the cumulative effect transforms daily challenges into stepping stones toward discipline, resilience, and sustained success. Chapter 14. Simplify your environment to sharpen your focus and clarity. Your environment shapes your mind more than most people realize. Clutter, noise, and unnecessary complexity create mental friction that makes focus difficult. Every object, notification, or visual distraction divides attention, drains energy, and slows decision-making. Simplifying your surroundings removes these obstacles, allowing your brain to operate efficiently. When the external world is organized and intentional, your mind naturally follows suit, becoming sharper, clearer, and more capable of sustained concentration. Begin by assessing your physical space. Every item should serve a purpose or bring value. Unnecessary possessions occupy not only physical space but also mental bandwidth. A desk overloaded with papers, gadgets, or clutter subconsciously signals chaos and distraction. Removing non-essential items reduces cognitive load and creates a calm foundation for productive work. Minimalism in your workspace creates room for clarity, encourages decisiveness, and strengthens attention. Digital simplification is equally important. Phones, computers, and notifications are constant sources of interruption. Turn off non-essential alerts, organize apps, and limit social media use during focused periods. Inbox overload and unstructured digital files fragment attention and increase mental fatigue. A clean digital environment reduces stress, enhances responsiveness, and allows your mind to remain centered on tasks that truly matter. Simplifying routines sharpens focus. Multiple competing habits can dilute energy and reduce efficiency. Prioritize essential activities and eliminate low-value actions. Streamlining daily routines ensures that mental and physical energy are directed toward meaningful goals. When your schedule is intentional and uncluttered, the mind is free to concentrate fully on the present task. Control sensory input to reduce distractions. Excessive noise, visual stimuli, or interruptions interfere with deep thought. Create conditions that support concentration, such as a quiet room, organized workspace, or background environment conducive to focus. Fewer competing signals allow the mind to operate without constant interruption, improving clarity, decision-making, and efficiency. Simplifying also extends to commitments. Overloading yourself with tasks, meetings, and obligations fragments attention and reduces effectiveness. Evaluate responsibilities critically. Say no to non-essential engagements and prioritize those that align with your objectives. Every eliminated distraction is additional mental space to concentrate fully on your goals. Clarity comes from selective engagement, not sheer activity. Decision fatigue is reduced in a simplified environment. Every unnecessary choice drains willpower and attention. By organizing surroundings, routines, and priorities, you reduce trivial decisions, conserving mental energy for meaningful work. Fewer choices about minor matters create more bandwidth to tackle complex problems and maintain focus over longer periods. Visual clarity supports mental clarity. A clean, orderly environment signals the brain that work is possible and distractions are minimized. Each item should have a purpose, and spaces should be intentionally arranged. The less clutter your eyes perceive, the less cognitive effort is required to maintain attention. This creates a calm mental state, making problem-solving, creativity, and focus more accessible. Time management benefits from environmental simplicity. When tools, resources, and materials are organized, tasks take less time and mental energy to complete. The absence of unnecessary clutter reduces the risk of delays caused by searching for items or navigating disorder. Streamlined systems enable faster, more confident action, reinforcing focus and momentum. Simplifying relationships also sharpens clarity. People who constantly demand attention, provoke stress, or distract from priorities dilute focus. Surround yourself with individuals who support your objectives and minimize unnecessary interruptions. Social simplicity allows energy to remain aligned with your goals, enabling better concentration, decision-making, and emotional regulation. Intentional spaces encourage intentional thinking. By designing an environment that reflects priorities, your mind is guided naturally toward focus. This includes not only physical space, but also the tools, devices, and visual cues you choose to keep. An environment designed for productivity reinforces discipline, reduces resistance, and strengthens attention. Minimalism in communication reduces cognitive clutter. Limit unnecessary messages, group chats, and email threats that demand attention without contributing to your objectives. Streamlined communication channels keep your mind centered on essential information and decisions. Reduced noise improves responsiveness and allows deeper concentration on the tasks that matter most. Routine reflection enhances environmental clarity. Regularly review surroundings, habits, and commitments to identify what is unnecessary or counterproductive. Continuous adjustment ensures your environment evolves to support focus rather than hinder it. Clarity is maintained not by a one-time effort, but by ongoing attention to alignment between surroundings and goals. Simplifying tools and systems increases efficiency. Use only the equipment, software, or resources that directly support your work. Redundant or poorly organized tools create friction and distract from primary objectives. Reducing complexity allows your mind to focus fully on the task at hand rather than navigating unnecessary obstacles. Physical movement contributes to mental clarity. Organize spaces to allow freedom of motion, natural light, and comfort. A restrictive or uncomfortable environment creates subtle stress and reduces cognitive performance. Simplicity in design and ergonomics fosters a mental state conducive to sustained focus and effective problem solving. Consistency reinforces benefits. A clean and simplified environment is most effective when maintained regularly. Periodic decluttering, habit review, and organizational adjustments prevent drift into chaos. The ongoing commitment to simplicity strengthens attention, reduces stress, and enhances mental stamina over time. Eliminating multitasking reinforces clarity. A simplified environment naturally encourages sequential focus. When distractions, excess items, and competing stimuli are minimized, the brain can dedicate full attention to one task at a time. This improves comprehension, retention, and performance, demonstrating that simplicity enhances cognitive efficiency. Simplification supports emotional stability. Chaos in the environment creates subtle anxiety, tension, and overwhelm. An organized, intentional space reduces these stressors, freeing mental capacity for creativity, concentration, and strategic thinking. Emotional calm enhances clarity, allowing better decisions and sustained productivity. Tracking progress in a simplified environment is easier. When tools, materials, and processes are streamlined, measuring outcomes, reviewing accomplishments, and planning next steps is straightforward. Clarity about progress reinforces motivation, maintains momentum, and strengthens focus over time. The ultimate effect of simplification is empowerment. A clear environment creates a clear mind, enabling decisive action, sustained concentration, and intentional living. Every distraction removed, every object organized, and every process streamlined enhances mental capacity. Simplicity is not about deprivation, it is about creating conditions where energy, focus, and clarity are maximized. A simplified environment is a foundation for excellence. When unnecessary complexity is removed, attention flows naturally to meaningful tasks, decisions are easier, and energy is preserved for high-value actions. Mental clarity, focus, and effectiveness are the natural outcomes of intentional simplicity. By designing surroundings that reduce distraction and support intention, you sharpen the mind, strengthen willpower, and unlock the ability to perform at your highest level consistently. Chapter 15v Learn to say no to protect your mental energy. Saying no is one of the most powerful tools for protecting your mental energy. Every time you agree to something that doesn't align with your priorities, you dilute your focus and drain your reserves. Energy is finite, and how you spend it determines what you are capable of achieving. By learning to say no, you create space for the things that matter most. Protecting your mental energy is not selfish, it is essential for consistent growth, focus, and long-term success. Start by understanding your priorities clearly. Without knowing what is most important, saying no becomes difficult. When your goals, values, and objectives are defined, decisions become easier. Each request, invitation, or obligation can be evaluated against whether it supports your priorities or drains your energy. A clear framework makes saying no less intimidating and more intentional. Recognize the cost of saying yes unnecessarily. Agreeing to tasks, favors, or commitments that are not aligned with your goals consumes time, focus, and emotional resources. Each yes to something trivial is a no to something significant. By refusing what does not serve your purpose, you preserve energy for actions that truly move you forward. Saying no requires practice and confidence. Many avoid refusal because they fear conflict, rejection, or disappointing others. Mental toughness grows when you assert boundaries with clarity and respect. A well-communicated no protects your focus without alienating others. The more frequently you practice, the more natural it becomes. Use time as a metric for decision-making. When a request arises, consider how much time it will demand and what you must sacrifice to accommodate it. If the trade-off compromises important priorities, the answer is no. Time is one of your most valuable resources, and guarding it carefully ensures that your mental energy is directed toward meaningful actions. Saying no also protects emotional energy. Engaging in draining conversations, toxic relationships, or unnecessary social obligations diminishes resilience and focus. Boundaries allow you to conserve emotional resources for constructive interactions and productive work. Protecting your energy strengthens patience, clarity, and persistence in pursuing long-term goals. Practice polite but firm refusals. A no does not require elaborate explanations or apologies. Simple, direct statements convey your decision clearly and assertively. Over-explaining or justifying often undermines boundaries and wastes energy. Clear communication allows you to maintain respect while preserving focus. Prioritize long-term impact over short-term approval. Many agree to requests to avoid immediate discomfort or criticism. This short Term compliance often results in long-term distraction and fatigue. Protecting mental energy requires valuing your future capacity over immediate convenience. Each refusal builds resilience, self-respect, and the ability to focus on what matters most. Batching commitments reduces stress. Avoid scattering attention across too many simultaneous obligations. When you say yes selectively, you can schedule focused periods for essential tasks, rest, and reflection. Concentrated energy produces higher quality results and prevents depletion from overextension. Saying no strategically creates the structure that supports sustained performance. Learn to distinguish between essential and optional requests. Not every opportunity is worth accepting. Assess the alignment with your goals, potential benefits, and costs. Optional engagements that add little value to your growth, energy, or focus are prime candidates for refusal. Clarity in evaluation strengthens decision-making and ensures energy is invested wisely. Saying no reinforces personal boundaries. Boundaries are the invisible lines that protect mental and emotional health. Respecting your own limits models behavior for others and signals that your time and energy are valuable. Consistently practicing refusal strengthens self-discipline and reduces susceptibility to distraction and overwhelm. Anticipate situations where saying no may be necessary. Many energy drains are predictable, unnecessary meetings, low priority requests, or repetitive obligations. By planning in advance, you reduce the reactive stress of constant decision-making. Mental energy is preserved when boundaries are preemptively established and maintained consistently. Use technology wisely to support refusal. Set limits on notifications, filter messages, and schedule time blocks to reduce unsolicited demands. Digital boundaries prevent external pressures from depleting focus and attention. A managed environment strengthens your ability to say no without constant temptation or distraction. Saying no allows for deeper engagement with commitments you accept. Energy invested selectively produces higher quality outcomes, greater satisfaction, and accelerated progress. Mental clarity improves when focus is allocated to meaningful tasks rather than diluted across too many responsibilities. Depth is achieved through selective participation. Recognize the difference between guilt and obligation. Feeling guilty for refusing a request is normal, but guilt should not override purpose. Obligation without alignment to goals is draining. Distinguishing between social pressure and genuine responsibility allows you to conserve energy for actions that truly matter. Regularly review how you spend your time and energy. Evaluate past commitments to identify areas where unnecessary yes responses drained resources. Reflection informs future decisions and strengthens the ability to refuse distractions and non-essential demands. Continuous assessment ensures energy is used efficiently and purposefully. Empower others by redirecting requests. When declining, offer alternatives that do not compromise your focus. Redirecting allows you to protect mental energy while still providing support in ways that are sustainable. Strategic refusal preserves relationships without sacrificing priorities. Saying no fosters self-respect. Each boundary set and honored reinforces confidence in your ability to manage your life. Self-respect strengthens resilience, reduces stress, and creates mental space for growth. Protecting energy is an act of self-care that directly supports long-term focus and achievement. Small daily refusals build strength over time. Saying no to minor distractions like unnecessary browsing, unproductive meetings, or casual interruptions reinforces the habit of protecting attention. These micro-boundaries compound into a powerful capacity to preserve energy for high-value pursuits. Saying no is a proactive strategy, not reactive avoidance. Each refusal is an intentional act that strengthens your capacity to pursue meaningful goals. Energy, focus, and clarity are preserved when decisions are made deliberately rather than impulsively. Strategic refusal is a skill that amplifies mental stamina and productivity. Ultimately, learning to say no is about honoring yourself and your priorities. Every refusal protects your mental energy, preserves focus, and strengthens willpower. The more consistently you practice, the easier it becomes to navigate requests, distractions, and obligations without compromising your progress. Saying no is not denial, it is empowerment. It allows you to invest your attention, effort, and energy in ways that build momentum, resilience, and meaningful achievement. Chapter 16 sees visualize success daily to program your mind for victory. Visualization is a powerful tool that shapes your reality by training your mind to focus on outcomes and possibilities. Each time you imagine success in vivid detail, you create a mental blueprint that guides action, strengthens confidence, and reinforces belief in your ability to achieve goals. The brain cannot fully distinguish between real experiences and detailed mental rehearsal, so imagining achievement repeatedly conditions your mind for real-life performance. Visualizing success daily programs your focus, clarifies objectives, and aligns energy toward meaningful results. Begin by creating a clear picture of what success looks like. Define specific outcomes, desired achievements, and concrete milestones. The more precise your vision, the more your mind can recognize opportunities and generate strategies to reach it. Clarity is essential. Vague aspirations produce weak mental signals that do not drive decisive action. A detailed visualization acts as a mental map, showing not just the destination but the steps to arrive there. Engage all senses in the process. Imagine not only what success looks like, but also what it feels, sounds, and even smells like. Sensory richness makes the mental rehearsal more realistic, strengthening the brain's ability to internalize the experience. When your imagination evokes strong emotional and physical responses, it reinforces motivation and builds anticipation for real-world achievement. Consistency is critical. Daily visualization strengthens neural pathways associated with focus, motivation, and confidence. Repetition reinforces belief in your capacity to succeed. The more frequently you rehearse success, the more natural it feels, reducing hesitation and fear when action is required. Mental conditioning through daily practice prepares you to perform at a higher level under pressure. Visualization enhances problem solving and planning. Imagining the path to success helps you anticipate obstacles, identify resources, and develop strategies in advance. By mentally rehearsing challenges and solutions, you prepare your mind for real-world execution. Each session of visualization builds resilience, adaptability, and readiness, giving you a tactical advantage when pursuing goals. Incorporate emotions into visualization. Feel the excitement, satisfaction, and pride of achieving your objectives. Emotions amplify the mental programming effect by associating success with positive reinforcement. When your mind links effort to reward and fulfillment, motivation naturally increases, making it easier to take consistent, focused action toward your goals. Visualization also strengthens confidence. Mental rehearsal creates familiarity with success, reducing uncertainty and fear. The mind becomes conditioned to expect positive outcomes, reinforcing self-belief. Confidence cultivated through repeated visualization translates directly into performance, decision-making, and persistence, allowing you to act decisively even in challenging situations. Combine visualization with action. Imagining success is powerful, but it is amplified when paired with real effort. Use your mental rehearsal to clarify steps, refine strategies, and identify priorities. Each action you take aligned with your vision reinforces the mental pattern, creating a feedback loop between imagination and reality. The brain responds to combined rehearsal and execution with accelerated skill development and focus. Visualization builds resilience under pressure. Mentally rehearsing success, including overcoming setbacks, prepares the mind to stay composed when challenges arise. Anticipating obstacles and visualizing solutions reduces stress and strengthens emotional stability. By practicing scenarios in your mind, you prepare for real-world difficulties with clarity, composure, and determination. Use written or recorded cues to enhance visualization. Journaling the vision of success or listening to affirmations reinforces clarity and retention. External tools serve as reminders and anchor the mental rehearsal. Over time, repeated exposure solidifies the vision, making it an automatic reference point that guides decision-making and behavior. Visualization improves focus on high-value activities. When your mind regularly sees the desired outcome, it naturally prioritizes tasks that contribute to achieving it. Irrelevant or low-value distractions lose power because your mental energy is aligned with the end goal. Focus strengthens as your subconscious consistently filters choices based on alignment with your vision. Integrate visualization into your morning routine, beginning the day by imagining successful performance, goals achieved, and challenges overcome sets a positive tone and primes motivation. The mind starts the day with purpose, clarity, and confidence, increasing the likelihood of deliberate, high-quality action throughout the day. Visualization encourages proactive thinking. Mentally rehearsing success highlights steps you must take to reach goals, allowing preparation rather than reaction. Anticipation improves planning, reduces errors, and enhances efficiency. The mind trained in proactive visualization develops strategic insight that improves both execution and problem solving. Include milestones in visualization. Break down larger objectives into smaller, achievable segments and mentally rehearse reaching each one. This reinforces progress, builds motivation, and strengthens belief in the attainability of larger goals. Recognizing incremental success mentally prepares you to replicate achievement in reality. Visualization strengthens perseverance. Imagining completion despite obstacles reinforces determination and mental stamina. The mind trained to endure challenges in imagination carries that capacity into real situations. Each session of focused visualization reduces doubt, reinforces persistence, and conditions the mind to continue acting when difficulties arise. Integrate past successes into your practice. Recall moments where you achieved difficult goals and use them as anchors for current visualization. This reinforces self-belief, demonstrates capability, and provides evidence that your goals are attainable. Linking past achievements with future aspirations strengthens mental programming for success. Visualization enhances creativity. Mentally rehearsing scenarios encourages exploration of new strategies and solutions. The mind can simulate multiple approaches without real-world risk, fostering innovation. Creative problem-solving emerges naturally when the brain has a clear, compelling vision to work toward. Regular reflection improves the effectiveness of visualization. After each session, note insights, adjustments, or new ideas that arise. Reflection reinforces learning, clarifies steps, and strengthens mental patterns. A disciplined practice ensures that visualization remains actionable rather than purely aspirational. Visualization improves emotional regulation. Seeing yourself succeed reduces anxiety, builds composure, and strengthens confidence in the face of challenges. Mentally rehearsing success helps you respond rather than react under pressure. Emotional control enhances decision-making, focus, and performance consistently. Finally, visualization is a daily investment in your potential. Each session programs your mind, reinforces belief, strengthens focus, and aligns energy with meaningful action. When practiced consistently, mental rehearsal transforms aspiration into expectation, hesitation into decisiveness, and potential into achievement. Daily visualization turns intention into results and programs the mind for victory in every area of life. Chapter 17a. Track your habits to measure growth and stay accountable. Tracking your habits is one of the most powerful ways to measure personal growth and maintain accountability. Without a clear record of what you are consistently doing, it is easy to lose sight of progress, overlook areas for improvement, and underestimate the cumulative effect of daily actions. Habits are the building blocks of achievement, and when tracked systematically, they reveal patterns, strengths, and weaknesses that might otherwise go unnoticed. Measuring behavior rather than just outcomes provides tangible evidence of effort and allows you to adjust strategically. The first step is to identify the habits that align with your goals. Focus on behaviors that directly contribute to your growth, productivity, and well-being. These could include daily exercise, consistent work sessions, reading, meditation, or practicing skills relevant to your objectives. Each habit should have a clear purpose so that tracking it provides meaningful insight into your progress. Consistency is the foundation of habit tracking. A habit is not valuable unless it is repeated over time. Recording whether an action was completed each day creates visibility and reinforces commitment. The simple act of noting completion strengthens accountability, activates awareness, and increases the likelihood that you will follow through. Tracking reveals trends that inform decisions. Over weeks or months, patterns emerge that show which habits are sustainable, which need modification, and which are underperforming. This data allows you to adjust strategies, allocate energy efficiently, and optimize routines. When decisions are informed by tracked behavior, actions become deliberate rather than reactive. Use visual tools to maintain clarity. Checklists, journals, habit trackers, or apps provide immediate feedback on progress. Seeing a streak of completed habits or gaps in practice produces motivation and highlights areas needing attention. Visual representation of growth reinforces momentum and makes accountability tangible rather than abstract. Tracking habits also strengthens discipline. Knowing that actions are being recorded increases the likelihood of compliance. The mind responds to observation, whether by oneself or through external accountability. Each tracked success reinforces the mental association between effort, consistency, and achievement, cultivating a disciplined mindset. Incorporate habit tracking into your daily routine. Set a fixed time each day to review, log, and reflect on completed behaviors. Regular evaluation prevents small lapses from becoming long-term patterns of inconsistency. Daily tracking keeps progress visible, reinforces awareness, and ensures habits remain aligned with overarching goals. Measurement encourages incremental improvement. Tracking does not only identify successes and failures, but also allows for small, deliberate adjustments. Increasing intensity, duration, or quality of habits over time compounds growth. The combination of consistent tracking and gradual enhancement produces exponential results. Accountability can be strengthened by sharing habit progress with a mentor, coach, or peer. External observation adds motivation to maintain consistency. Communicating progress creates a sense of responsibility that complements self-monitoring. Accountability partners provide feedback, encouragement, and perspective that accelerates growth. Tracking habits promotes self-awareness. Reviewing daily behaviors reveals tendencies, triggers, and resistance points. Understanding when and why habits succeed or fail equips you to make adjustments that improve adherence and effectiveness. Awareness transforms routine behaviors into conscious choices aligned with goals. Record both quantitative and qualitative aspects of habits. Note not only whether an action was completed but also quality, duration, or challenges faced. This level of detail provides deeper insight into performance and highlights areas where refinement is needed. Rich data produces informed action and more accurate assessment of growth. Set clear benchmarks for habit success. Define what constitutes completion or meaningful progress for each habit. Ambiguity undermines tracking and diminishes accountability. Specific criteria create clarity, making it easier to measure outcomes objectively and maintain consistency over time. Celebrate consistency to reinforce momentum. Acknowledge streaks and milestones reached through sustained habit practice. Recognizing effort encourages continuation, strengthens confidence, and maintains motivation. Small celebrations create psychological reinforcement that compounds the effectiveness of habit tracking. Use habit tracking to identify weak points in routines. Lapses or incomplete actions reveal obstacles, distractions, or resource limitations that impede progress. By pinpointing areas for improvement, you can implement targeted strategies to address inefficiencies, prevent recurrence, and strengthen overall performance. Track habits in alignment with long-term goals. Daily actions accumulate to create measurable outcomes, and tracking ensures that short-term behaviors remain connected to bigger objectives. Habit data provides clarity on whether daily efforts contribute effectively to desired results, allowing course corrections before small deviations escalate into failure. Habit tracking enhances decision-making. Knowing which behaviors consistently support growth enables prioritization and eliminates wasted effort. Decisions about time, energy, and resources are informed by evidence rather than assumptions. This alignment ensures that focus remains on high-value actions that generate tangible results. Flexibility is important within tracking systems. Adjust habits as goals evolve or circumstances change. Tracking is not meant to create rigidity, but to provide insight into progress. Adaptable systems maintain accountability while accommodating life's unpredictability, ensuring that habit practice remains sustainable and meaningful. Reflecting on habit patterns encourages growth mindset development. Observing successes reinforces belief in the ability to improve. Identifying failures provides opportunities for learning and problem solving. Habit tracking transforms challenges into feedback loops that guide intentional development and enhance resilience. Tracking reinforces the cumulative power of small actions. Each logged habit, even minor, contributes incrementally to broader growth. Visibility of repeated effort makes the connection between daily discipline and long-term achievement apparent. Tracking turns invisible progress into measurable evidence, strengthening motivation and persistence. Habit tracking also reduces mental load. When routines are monitored systematically, decisions about when and how to perform actions are simplified. A structured approach reduces cognitive friction, frees mental energy for creative or strategic thinking, and ensures that focus remains on high-impact activities. Ultimately, tracking habits is a disciplined practice that measures effort, identifies areas for improvement, and reinforces accountability. Daily recording transforms abstract goals into tangible progress and turns intention into action. Consistent tracking builds awareness, strengthens self-discipline, and ensures that each step contributes meaningfully to long-term growth. By committing to habit tracking, you create a system where focus, consistency, and measurable progress guide your journey toward achievement and mastery. Chapter 18Z, Push Through Discomfort to Unlock Your Hidden Potential. Discomfort is the gateway to growth and untapped potential. Every challenge, obstacle, and difficult moment contains an opportunity to discover strengths that remain dormant in comfort. Most people avoid discomfort, seeking ease and convenience, but this avoidance limits progress and suppresses capability. Pushing through discomfort is not just about enduring pain, it is about actively choosing to confront challenges, stretch abilities, and expand the boundaries of what you believe is possible. Hidden potential emerges when you refuse to retreat in the face of difficulty and instead meet it with focus, determination, and resilience. The first step is acknowledging discomfort as a natural and necessary part of growth. Avoiding it provides temporary relief but produces long-term stagnation. Every difficult situation is a signal that you are moving beyond familiar limits. When discomfort arises, recognize it as a marker of opportunity rather than a warning to retreat. The ability to identify these moments transforms fear and resistance into a compass for action. Shifting mindset is essential. Discomfort is often experienced as resistance, frustration, or fear. Reframing it as a tool for development changes how the mind responds. Instead of seeing difficulty as a barrier, view it as a teacher revealing areas for growth. This perspective reduces mental suffering, strengthens resolve, and allows energy to be focused on problem solving rather than avoidance. Small, intentional actions build tolerance. Growth does not require leaping into extreme situations immediately. Begin with manageable challenges that push your boundaries slightly beyond comfort. Each deliberate encounter with mild discomfort strengthens confidence, trains resilience, and prepares the mind and body for more significant challenges. Incremental exposure allows sustainable growth and reinforces the habit of persistence. Physical and mental endurance are strengthened together. When facing discomfort, whether through physical exertion, mental challenge, or emotional tension, the mind learns to remain calm, disciplined, and focused. Each moment of sustained effort under stress trains neural pathways associated with persistence, problem-solving, and strategic thinking. Over time, facing discomfort becomes less intimidating, and the ability to perform under pressure increases. Discomfort is often accompanied by fear. Fear signals the unknown or the untested, but it also signals potential for expansion. Courage is developed by acting despite fear, and each step forward reinforces belief in personal capability. Confronting fear directly allows hidden skills, creativity, and determination to emerge. Potential is unlocked when action overrides hesitation, and mental energy is redirected from avoidance to growth. Deliberate challenges accelerate self-discovery. Purposefully placing yourself in situations that require effort, patience, or adaptation reveals hidden strengths. Whether learning a new skill, taking on a complex project, or facing physical strain, intentional discomfort uncovers resilience, resourcefulness, and capabilities previously unrecognized. Each successful encounter builds confidence and expands the perceived limits of ability. Resisting the urge to retreat builds mental toughness. Discomfort naturally triggers impulses to seek relief, but repeated exposure without giving in strengthens willpower. Mental resilience grows when you choose persistence over surrender, and each conquered challenge reinforces the belief that progress requires endurance. Pushing past initial resistance solidifies habits of persistence and fortitude. Focus and presence are essential tools during discomfort. Pain, frustration, or challenge often triggers distraction, overthinking, or self-doubt. Maintaining attention on immediate steps rather than outcomes prevents overwhelm and ensures progress. Concentrated effort transforms discomfort into productive energy, directing mental and physical resources toward achievement instead of avoidance. Reframing failure within discomfort strengthens potential. Experiencing difficulty inevitably involves mistakes or setbacks. Viewing these as feedback rather than judgment allows you to continue without self-sabotage. Each failure provides insight into limitations, necessary adjustments, and strategies for improvement. By embracing failure as part of the growth process, potential is unlocked progressively rather than being limited by fear of error. Accountability enhances perseverance. Sharing goals, challenges, and experiences of pushing through discomfort with a mentor, peer, or team increases commitment. External accountability encourages follow-through, reinforces courage, and provides support during moments of struggle. The combination of self-discipline and external observation strengthens resilience and accelerates achievement. Visualizing success before and during discomfort enhances performance. Imagining yourself overcoming the challenge, completing the task, or thriving despite adversity primes the mind for action. Mental rehearsal reduces hesitation, increases confidence, and aligns energy toward productive behavior. Visualization reinforces the connection between effort and reward, making discomfort a deliberate step toward achievement rather than a deterrent. Tracking progress provides tangible evidence of capability. Recording challenges faced, actions taken, and outcomes achieved demonstrates growth over time. Seeing a record of endurance reinforces self-belief, motivation, and willingness to continue pushing boundaries. Evidence of overcoming difficulty strengthens the perception of potential and encourages higher levels of performance. Physical preparation supports mental resilience. Nutrition, rest, and exercise influence the body's response to discomfort. A well-prepared body reduces unnecessary fatigue, allowing the mind to remain focused on challenge rather than survival. Strengthening the physical foundation complements mental endurance, making it easier to confront and persist through demanding situations. Gradual escalation of challenge is more sustainable than sudden extremes. Begin with situations that stretch capabilities slightly beyond current comfort and progressively increase intensity. Each step reinforces confidence, reduces fear of failure, and conditions the mind to tolerate higher levels of difficulty. Incremental exposure ensures growth without risking burnout or injury. Mindfulness and self-awareness are crucial during discomfort. Observing bodily sensations, thoughts, and emotions without judgment prevents overwhelm. Recognizing stress signals, frustration, or fatigue allows for strategic adjustment rather than reactive retreat. Mindful engagement transforms discomfort into actionable insight, guiding behavior toward effective resolution rather than avoidance. Celebrate milestones achieved through discomfort. Acknowledging endurance, perseverance, and success reinforces motivation and strengthens self-concept. Recognizing progress cultivates optimism, reinforces resilience, and encourages continued engagement with challenging situations. Celebration is not indulgence, it is reinforcement of behavior that develops potential and mastery. Learning from discomfort accelerates growth. Each challenge encountered reveals strategies that work, behaviors that are effective, and habits that sustain performance. Reflection on these lessons creates a feedback loop where mental and physical effort produces not only achievement but also wisdom, strategic thinking, and greater capacity for future challenges. Persistence through discomfort creates momentum. Each moment endured builds a cumulative effect where energy, confidence, and ability compound. Repeatedly pushing through difficulty trains the mind to act decisively under pressure, adapt to adversity, and sustain focus despite resistance. Momentum transforms potential into realized skill, competence, and achievement. Ultimately, unlocking hidden potential requires intentional engagement with discomfort. Avoiding pain, challenge, or difficulty limits growth and leaves abilities dormant. Facing adversity with focus, determination, and resilience reveals strengths, expands capability, and develops the mental toughness necessary to achieve extraordinary results. Discomfort becomes the vehicle through which potential is activated, confidence is strengthened, and performance reaches new levels. Each deliberate confrontation with difficulty reinforces the belief that growth exists beyond comfort, and that personal potential is only fully realized when action is taken despite resistance. Chapter 9. Keep showing up even when motivation fades away. Consistency is what separates success from potential. Motivation is fleeting and unpredictable, often coming in bursts and disappearing without warning. Relying solely on motivation is a recipe for inconsistency, stagnation, and unfinished goals. Real progress comes from showing up regardless of emotional state or external circumstances. Discipline is the bridge between intention and achievement, and showing up consistently reinforces capability, momentum, and mastery over time. Begin by recognizing that motivation cannot be forced or controlled. Expecting it to sustain you daily creates unnecessary frustration. Instead, focus on action, which is within your control. Showing up is a deliberate choice independent of feelings. When you prioritize action over motivation, productivity becomes reliable rather than sporadic. Develop a routine that does not depend on emotional energy. Habits create structure and predictability, allowing you to perform essential tasks even when motivation is low. Daily repetition embeds behavior into the nervous system, making action automatic. Over time, discipline compensates for lack of enthusiasm and ensures progress continues regardless of internal fluctuations. Set clear intentions for every session of work or practice. Knowing exactly what to accomplish removes ambiguity that can exacerbate resistance when motivation is weak. A defined plan directs energy and focus, making it easier to take action even in moments of low drive. Intention transforms vague effort into deliberate movement toward goals. Break tasks into manageable steps. Large projects or goals can feel overwhelming when motivation wanes, triggering avoidance or procrastination. Dividing work into small, achievable actions allows you to continue showing up without relying on emotional momentum. Each completed step reinforces a sense of accomplishment and encourages further engagement. Use external accountability to reinforce consistency. Sharing progress with a mentor, coach, or peer introduces responsibility beyond personal willpower. External observation encourages action and creates a supportive framework that keeps you moving forward. Even on days when internal motivation is absent, focus on the process rather than immediate results. Motivation often depends on visible success, but growth is cumulative and largely invisible in the short term. Emphasizing routine, effort, and disciplined practice ensures that you make steady progress even when external rewards are not immediately apparent. Process-driven action builds resilience and long-term achievement. Visual cues and reminders support consistent showing up. Placing notes, checklists, or visual trackers in your environment reinforces awareness and triggers action. External signals reduce reliance on motivation by providing structured prompts that keep you engaged with essential habits. The environment can act as a silent partner in maintaining consistency. Embrace discomfort as part of consistency. Showing up frequently requires pushing through resistance, fatigue, or boredom. Accept that progress often occurs outside the zone of comfort. The act of persisting despite low energy strengthens mental toughness and builds confidence in your ability to overcome obstacles without relying on fleeting feelings. Focus on commitment rather than feeling ready. Waiting to feel motivated before starting creates unnecessary delays and missed opportunities. Commitment to action establishes a principle of reliability. You act because it matters, not because you feel inclined. This mindset develops resilience and reinforces identity as someone who follows through. Reflect on past experiences to reinforce the value of showing up. Recall times when persistence produced results despite lack of initial motivation. These memories create a mental record that demonstrates the power of consistent action. Reinforcing these examples strengthens belief in the principle that regular effort outweighs temporary enthusiasm. Use structured timing to maintain engagement. Schedule specific periods for important tasks rather than relying on spontaneous energy. Fixed time blocks create habitual cues for action, reducing reliance on emotional readiness. Structure ensures that essential work is completed even on low motivation days. Track incremental progress to maintain momentum. Recording small wins, achievements, or completed tasks provides tangible feedback that reinforces showing up. Even when motivation is low, visible evidence of movement toward goals encourages continuation. Progress becomes self-reinforcing, independent of transient feelings. Develop self-discipline through repeated exposure to low motivation conditions. Each time you act despite feeling resistant, you strengthen neural pathways associated with persistence, resilience, and delayed gratification. Over time, consistent action becomes habitual and less dependent on fluctuating emotions. The mind and body adapt to reliability as the default mode of operation. Remove unnecessary barriers to action. Simplify environments, reduce distractions, and organize tools in advance so that starting requires minimal effort. When action is made easy, the threshold for showing up is lower, allowing you to maintain consistency even when internal drive is weak. Focus on identity-based motivation. Instead of acting because of fleeting emotion, act because it reflects the person you want to become. When showing up aligns with your self-concept, behavior becomes automatic and internalized. Identity-driven action is sustainable and independent of temporary enthusiasm. Use micro-actions to maintain continuity. On days when energy is extremely low, completing even a small portion of a task reinforces commitment and prevents stagnation. Micro-actions maintain habit momentum and reduce the mental resistance associated with larger efforts. Each tiny step compounds over time into significant progress. Accept imperfection as part of consistency. Progress is not always perfect, and results may fluctuate. Showing up consistently does not require flawless execution. It requires persistence. Embracing imperfection reduces fear of failure and maintains engagement even when performance feels suboptimal. Celebrate routine endurance. Acknowledging the simple act of showing up reinforces behavior, builds confidence, and strengthens habit formation. Recognizing commitment rather than outcome shifts focus to sustainable effort and long-term growth. Celebrations, even minor, maintain psychological reinforcement for continued persistence. Focus on long-term vision to maintain motivation indirectly. When day-to-day energy is low, connecting tasks to overarching goals reinforces purpose. The knowledge that small actions accumulate towards significant outcomes provides direction and encourages showing up even when immediate feelings do not inspire action. Ultimately, showing up consistently is a skill that transcends motivation. Motivation is temporary, but discipline, routine, and deliberate action create reliable momentum. Progress, growth, and achievement are the product of repeated, intentional engagement. Every day you act despite low motivation, you reinforce resilience, strengthen habits, and move closer to mastery. Success is built not on inspiration but on consistent presence, dedication, and the refusal to abandon effort when feelings fluctuate. Chapter 28. Celebrate small wins to build unstoppable inner confidence. Celebrating small wins is a critical habit for building unstoppable inner confidence. Progress is often measured in small steps rather than monumental leaps, and recognizing these steps reinforces belief in your ability to achieve larger goals. Confidence is not solely built through major accomplishments, it grows cumulatively as consistent effort produces tangible results. Each small victory validates your discipline, focus, and commitment, reinforcing the mental framework necessary for sustained success. Begin by identifying what qualifies as a small win. It can be completing a task you resisted, taking a decisive action, learning a new skill, or maintaining a positive habit for a day. These victories are often overlooked because they seem minor in comparison to long-term goals, yet they compound into momentum that fuels future achievement. Acknowledging small wins ensures that progress is visible, tangible, and motivating. Recognize the psychological impact of celebrating small wins. Each acknowledgement releases positive reinforcement in the mind, which strengthens the association between effort and reward. This mental reinforcement encourages repeated action, builds motivation, and develops resilience. When small achievements are noticed, the brain registers them as meaningful contributions to overall growth, making continued effort more likely. Documenting wins enhances their effect. Writing down daily accomplishments, no matter how minor, creates a record of progress. Journals, habit trackers, or simple checklists provide visual proof that effort produces results. Reviewing these records reinforces confidence, helps identify patterns of success, and ensures that no progress goes unnoticed. The act of reflection solidifies the psychological benefits of small wins. Celebration does not require extravagance. Even simple recognition of achievement, a mental note, a brief pause, or sharing success with a supportive peer reinforces the positive impact. The key is consistency, ensuring that each accomplishment, no matter how small, is acknowledged. Regular reinforcement trains the mind to associate action with reward, strengthening self-belief and internal motivation. Small wins also build momentum. Each completed action generates energy that propels further effort. Momentum transforms minor progress into sustained productivity and larger achievements over time. Recognizing incremental gains provides proof that progress is occurring, even when long-term objectives feel distant or overwhelming. Momentum creates a psychological advantage that encourages persistence and focus. Celebrate progress rather than perfection. Waiting for perfection undermines confidence and delays recognition of effort. Emphasizing effort and incremental improvement encourages continued action, reinforces self-efficacy, and reduces fear of failure. Progress-oriented celebration nurtures a growth mindset where learning and persistence are valued above flawless outcomes. Pair small wins with reflection. Analyze what actions, strategies, or behaviors contributed to the achievement. Understanding why success occurred enhances learning, reinforces effective habits, and increases the likelihood of replicating results. Reflection connects effort with outcome, making victories more meaningful and purposeful. Sharing wins with others amplifies their effect. Communicating progress with supportive friends, mentors, or colleagues strengthens accountability, reinforces confidence, and provides encouragement. Positive social reinforcement deepens the psychological impact of achievement and fosters a culture of acknowledgement that sustains motivation over time. Small wins reinforce resilience. Overcoming minor challenges builds confidence in the ability to handle more significant obstacles. Each success, even incremental, demonstrates capability and reduces self-doubt. This cumulative reinforcement strengthens mental toughness, making setbacks less intimidating and progress more sustainable. Recognize wins in all areas of life. Confidence is built holistically, not just in professional or skill-based contexts. Celebrating achievements in personal growth, health, relationships, and emotional resilience strengthens overall self-belief. Recognizing diverse victories ensures that inner confidence is broad, stable, and adaptable to various challenges. Link small wins to long-term goals. Each minor achievement should be understood as a step toward larger objectives. Connecting incremental progress to overarching aspirations provides clarity, purpose, and direction. This linkage reinforces the significance of small actions and strengthens motivation to continue showing up consistently. Use rituals to reinforce celebration. Develop habits of pausing, reflecting, or marking completion of milestones. Rituals signal to the mind that success is acknowledged and valued, reinforcing internal motivation. These consistent markers create a psychological environment where confidence grows naturally alongside accomplishment. Small wins reduce stress and overwhelm. Large goals can feel daunting, but focusing on achievable steps and celebrating them creates a sense of control and progress. Recognizing effort alleviates anxiety, maintains focus, and increases the likelihood of continued engagement with challenging tasks. The mind experiences growth as manageable, cumulative, and rewarding. Visual cues enhance recognition of small wins. Habit trackers, progress bars, or visual journals provide immediate feedback and tangible evidence of achievement. Seeing progress visually strengthens motivation, reinforces consistency, and cultivates confidence. Visual reinforcement makes abstract effort concrete and psychologically rewarding. Small wins reinforce identity. Each achievement, no matter the size, affirms the person you are becoming. Success builds self-perception as capable, disciplined, and resilient. Consistently acknowledging progress solidifies an identity aligned with growth, competence, and high achievement. Inner confidence becomes rooted in action and habit rather than external validation. Consistency in celebrating wins trains the brain to focus on achievement. Repeated acknowledgement of progress creates neural pathways associated with reward, effort, and perseverance. This strengthens motivation, increases resilience, and promotes sustained engagement with challenging tasks. Over time, recognition of success becomes an automatic reinforcement mechanism that drives continued growth. Small wins encourage proactive behavior. Recognizing achievement motivates further action, initiative, and exploration. Momentum from consistent acknowledgement promotes engagement, creativity, and sustained focus. Each victory, no matter how minor, acts as a catalyst for continued effort and expanded capability. Maintain perspective on growth. Each small win represents a tangible step in a larger journey. Celebrating these moments reinforces patience, persistence, and long-term vision. Confidence grows when effort is visible, progress is acknowledged, and the connection between action and outcome is clear. Ultimately, celebrating small wins transforms effort into measurable growth and fosters unstoppable inner confidence. Recognition reinforces positive behavior, strengthens mental resilience, and builds momentum toward larger achievements. Confidence becomes rooted in consistent action, disciplined habits, and acknowledgement of progress. Every small victory compounds, creating a psychological foundation where perseverance, focus, and belief in personal capability are unshakable. By honoring incremental achievements, you program your mind to recognize capability, embrace challenges, and pursue success with unwavering confidence.